G Podcast, your premier pop culture and gaming talk show featuring the most dedicated, up-to-date, and opinionated team of the craziest gamers and online denizens this side of the internet. Sharing news, views, thoughts, or just plain having a great time, join us and listen in on the hype, the nostalgia, all the awesome bits, all by the wildest content creators on Facebook Live. Featuring hashtag Activo Positivo Senpai Charlie Palito, Secret Base's resident FGC Demon Ravenize, comic nerd streamer and gaming blogger news authority and super snoot Noch, everyone's favorite passionate streaming panda bear JC, the nicest rally hat wearing RPG head gamer Papri Raffy, POPMuG Podcast's mouth and one half of the GoriGori Gaming Battle Bros BJG, and the ever elegant FPS Femme Fatale meets Bing Bing 2.0. For gamers by gamers, for the pop culture community by your prime geeks and nerds. This is G, Games, Geeks, and Good Times. Misats! Welcome mga kaibigan. Welcome to another episode of Gamers, Geeks, and Good Times, the podcast. This is BJG, your host for this evening, and as you can see, I am dressed for the occasion. Alright, pagka nakarinig kayo ng ganyan, you know it's time. You know it's time to get your butt handed to you in the on the silver platter. Welcome. This is episode 19, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. And of course, we're going to have a lot of fun this evening, just beginning the show, starting off with the people who are already here, just saying hello to Stanley. Cheska's over here. Of course, I think I saw Raffy. Raffy's in the chat. Wow, the duality of man. He's also here. But we're going to get things right up the street, if you would think about it, right up our alley. We have a very special feature. And of course, it's Cinco de Mayo. It's a very good holiday. Let's get this fight started. Joining us first is, of course, everybody's captain. Oh, my captain, Captain Mike from Captain Mike Gaming. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Entrant fighter number one.
Hey. What is happening, everybody? This is your captain speaking, and welcome to episode 19 of the G Podcast.
Welcome. Fighter number two is coming down right now, down south. But the person is sporting blue. And of course, sporting Chun-Li, Papi Raffy of YRP Gaming. Welcome. Oh, wala pang audio. Masyadong malakas yung kikosyo ni Chun-Li. Wala pa. Wait lang. Guys, medyo inaatake po ni Bison si Chun-Li as of the moment. Speaking of Bison, babalikan ka namin Papi Raffy. We're just getting a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are going to get back to, speaking of Bison, the guy surprisingly wearing the Dictator's t-shirt. Everybody please welcome FGC's very own Almond Ravenize. Welcome, sir.
Wala nang intro. Kilala nyo na ako.
Ito may t-shirt mo, ganda eh. Ito mo t-shirt mo, ganda eh.
Dictator.
Yan.
Dictator.
Si Dictator. Ayun, parang naririnig ko na si Papi Raffy. Papi Raffy, are you here?
Yes, I'm here na. Yay.
Yan. Welcome. Ganda ng background. Dapat nga uli ng background mo.
Yes, it's a Chun-Li. Oh, thank you. Yan yung ano niya. So, hello guys, good evening. Welcome to another stream of G Podcast episode 19. Again, happy Cinco de Mayo sa inyo lahat. And again, good evening everyone. Pasensya na sa technical difficulties. Pasensya na po.
Okay lang yan. And of course, we cannot have a G Podcast without, ewan ko kung Mr. Suave pa siya ngayon, but something's playing on the screen right now. The legend, the beast, Noch, otherwise known as Daigon Tepok. Yan.
Okay. I think you got it all wrong, BJ. We're just looking at Justin Wong in glasses.
Magsalita ka para ma-highlight ka, pre.
Yan na, highlight.
Ba?
Ayan. Pakiklip.
Isang esports post.
Oh, gumilid ka lang eh.
Tataka lang ako, hindi pa ba napapagod si Almond sa intro niya? Sana baguhin niya naman. Pang-apat na to.
Binibilang ko nga eh. Yan, no? Paki-explain nga, sir, what is your name there? Tell us about that. Who are you?
Kasi, ako, di niyo ba napanood yung Evo 37, pare?
I knew it.
Di napanood? After nung kay Daigo, ako yung sumunod.
See?
Pero nagsiuwian na yung mga tao eh. Kala siguro nila tapos na. Hindi pa tapos eh. Ako yung huli eh. Nakalagay yung token ko dun sa cabinet, nakapatong dun. Ako yung sumunod dun sa pila eh. Kakalabanin ko sana si Daigo eh.
Para magbubudots ka lang ah.
Yan, no?
Yan. Mukhang tama yung sinabi ni dito ni Trickster, no, si Justin Bong.
Para magbubudots lang, you know?
Grabe tong posing na to. After ni Daigo.
Masakit na yung mata ko. Walang kindatan.
Kamusta kayo mga brother? It's finally May, right? It's May. It's the first episode of the G Podcast for May. And we are now 19 episodes in. Would you believe that? 19 shows. 18 shows have come before this one. Kamusta kayo, man? Let's start off with Captain Mike. What's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. Everything is busy, Never felt busy in a while. Singit ano ko na rin kasi busy for the tournament this coming Saturday. Tapos edits, tapos errands, tapos yun na.
Right.
Ano yung tournament?
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, the tournament is for Call of Duty. It's a 5v5. We already have a maximum of 64 teams. This coming Sunday, it'll be simul-streamed via G and over my page. So, kung interesado, if you're into the FPS mobile gaming, feel free to join us. Sunday, 3 p.m.
Right, there you have it. Sunday at 3 p.m. Join Captain Mike in the tournament stream. Welcome, Papi Raffy. Ikaw naman, kamusta ka?
Yes, okay naman. Ang init, sobrang init. Diyos ninyo, 33 degrees ngayong gabi. Ngayong gabi pala until now is 33 degrees, sobra. So,
ilan sa Fahrenheit yun?
Paano ba? 2.2 siya. So, like 66, 56, the Fahrenheit.
We're looking at 86.
42.
Height.
42.
Yan.
Ito si Budots eh.
42.
Kelvin? 33 Celsius is 91 degrees Fahrenheit.
Mainit nga.
91.
Thank you. Sorry. I have to admit that it is very hot, pero sabi nga kung meron kayong aircon at mag-electric fan ng todo, gawin niyo na just so that you don't risk your health. Speaking of hot, may init ka dyan, brada. Kamusta dyan? Ang background mo pa lang tapos ikaw pala si Dictator. Kamusta? Dictator.
Okay lang. Binuksan ko yung aircon kasi mainit eh. Hindi, okay lang ako. Okay lang. Yun lang. I'm excited na pag-usapan to kasi main game ko to eh. Tapos kasama pa tayo. Boss ko to eh.
Right. Before we get to that, Papachino, what's going on with you, man? I mean, you're Daigon, Tapok, Lamok. Kamusta ka rin?
Nakakatuwa. Bumabounce yung bigote ko.
Bouncing bigote ba?
Actually, okay naman. Medyo busy lang sa mga sa personal lives. Masyadong bago.
Nice. Despite the fact that people here in G are, we're very much preoccupied with the things that we do, we still do not fail to come to you every Wednesday and give you the show you deserve. Especially tonight is a very special episode because it's our first episode of the month. We have a lot of explosive stuff coming. We have a guest tonight, and I guess you guys already know it. But before we introduce that guest for you, we are going to knock down the most important bits and pieces of information and news that we have discovered over the week. So sit tight, enjoy, and we are going to get into, of course, Rated G News coming right up for you guys. Just sit back. We're going to be reading our first article for the evening. Rated G News, here we go. Did you know that PlayStation patents PS5 AI that will adjust boss difficulty? Gori's been looking at a number of ways to make the overall PlayStation 5 experience more enjoyable for players, and fans have gotten to see some of the company's ideas. There's several, what is that? Yun. So, one of these patents is for technology that will use the AI to determine the player's skill and adjust the game's difficulty based on success or failures. As a result of success in the game, boss fights might become more difficult, while failure might result in easier enemies instead. Ideally, this would be an option rather than a requirement, as some players prefer a good challenge. In another aspect, a method includes receiving the data related to one or more video game players, attempt to beat a video game opponent, and determining, based on the data, a different way of beating the video game opponent in the future. The method also includes altering gameplay against the video game opponent based on a different way of beating the video game opponent in the game, such as a boss that is engaged at the end of the level of the video game. The patent reads. For more information about this particular interesting news, head on over to comicbook.com, look for PlayStation patents, PS5 AI. That is our very first news for the evening about the PlayStation. Coming up next, ito medyo mabigat to na dumating sa atin. Coming up next is as our second news for the evening. Haha! Marvel Studios Phase 4 sizzle reel reveals the future of MC. Have you guys watched this? You guys have seen this already, right? You guys have heard about the new movies that are coming in. After, it says here, the report says, after breaking records and blowing minds with Avengers Endgame, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is arguably an uncharted territory. The franchise has ever-growing number of movies and TV shows on deck for years to come. And after the smash debuts of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, one of the two best TV shows I've seen, fans are definitely excited to see exactly what's next. Last Monday, Marvel delivered on the accord in a pretty major way, debuting an epic sizzle reel for its Phase 4 slate. In and amongst the slate is a new footage from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, as well as the very first footage of Marvel's Eternals. There also is confirmation for the titles of two of the franchise's upcoming sequels, Captain Marvel, The Marvels, and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. There was a tweet from Marvel Entertainment that said, the world may change and evolve, but the one thing that will never change, we're all part of a big family, as a quote of the Black Widow movie coming out. For more information about this, again, head on over to comicbook.com, read over Marvel Studios Phase 4 sizzle reel reveals the future of MCU. Related to that, ladies and gentlemen, since we already mentioned the MCU, more importantly, there have been reports of this third entry that we have, and it is Marvel's Eternals. First video reveals the MCU's newest and oldest super team. In the news at ScreenRant.com, Marvel Studios released the very first Eternals footage, revealing an initial look at the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. After wrapping up Phase 3 of the MCU in 2019 with Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home, Marvel Studios had delayed their plans, Phase 4, due to the COVID-19 pandemic that sat out 2020 entirely. Now, 2021 is jam-packed with MCU offerings with four movies slated for the back half of the year. Black Widow will hit theaters and Disney Plus in July, followed by Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, The Eternals in November, and finally rounded out by Sony's Spider-Man No Way Home in December. Recently, Marvel released this first Shang-Chi trailer, and it's clearly kicking off promoting the theatrical releases. This was confirmed in 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. The Eternals will be the adaptation of the same name team from the comics by the now Oscar-winning filmmaker Chloe Zhao, who made Nomadland. For more information about the new movie, The Eternals, which is definitely exciting everybody, head on over to screenrant.com and look for Marvel's Eternals movie revealed, and you will get more information there. And those are the first three news that I will be reading. However, we actually have a fourth news that I think it's best. It's best that you just watch it. I think I could not do justice to the news unless you hear about it yourself. The news being Mortal Kombat co-creator gets a tease on the Marvel DC game secret thing that they're working on. Solomon, could you please roll the clip?
Hey. Kailang
Ever
Sorry
had one conversation with Marvel about making a fighting game?
Yes.
What?
Okay
When?
lang yun, Mari. Kasi this is too much for me to handle.
I did.
Like the whole thing.
But
There
I
you go.
probably shouldn't talk about it.
Are you excited about that idea?
Oh, God, yes. We would love to make like a Marvel fighting game or Marvel versus DC. I think would be the coolest.
I feel like it's a race between you and TT Games for getting that Marvel versus DC. I'm
Yeah,
rooting for you
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
Ulitin natin yung video.
Ever had one conversation with Marvel about making a
Because
fighting game?
this,
Yes.
you have to see.
What?
The news
When?
is, check out Ed Boon's face. Check it out.
I did. But I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Are you excited about that idea?
Oh, God, yes. We would love to make like a Marvel fighting game or Marvel versus DC.
Diba?
I think would be the coolest.
I feel like it's a race between you and TT Games for getting
This
that
is
Marvel
fantastic.
versus DC. I'm
Yeah,
rooting for you
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. DC versus Marvel, guys. This is something that has been in talks. And correct me if I'm wrong, Almond, before we give our thoughts on the other news, I think this is something we could focus on because this came out a couple of months ago. And it didn't really gain any traction, but only now, right? And then
Right.
there was a leak, right? That came out that Ed Boon is definitely working on a Marvel versus DC game. Somebody leaked it over, and then everybody went back to this video, right? That's right. I mean, it's crazy.
Because it was just a random question that was thrown months ago dun sa interview na yun. So, Ed Boon answer it with that, yung nakita nyo video, ganun yung sagot niya. Read between the lines, if you can read emotions, ayun yung confirmation. And then, last week, may lumabas na balita na nag-leak na it's on development. Only for PlayStation 5 though. For the next gen
Right.
consoles.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to go backwards this time because since we're already here, I want to focus on what you'd be expecting from a Marvel versus DC game. I mean, we've seen how Marvel works, like the Marvel fighting games at least. Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, Marvel versus Capcom 3. I mean, it has a very different visual appeal. And when you head on over to NetherRealm Studios, the DC Injustice mechanic and gameplay is so wildly different. So what are your expectations this time? Starting off with Papi Raffy, how do you expect this game to be, if at all, is gonna get released soon? Anong tingin mo rito?
It will be bloody. Sobrang bloody ang mangyayari dyan. I think
This is gonna be an adult game, huh?
matured game to baka maging R16 to dahil sa gore. Because we know that NetherRealm is actually the creator for Mortal Kombat. So possible na baka matulad to. This is DC and Marvel. I'm expecting na actually siguro magiging different lang sa thinking, siguro baka one-on-one ang battle, hindi katulad ng sa Marvel vs. Capcom na 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 ang battle. So, hoping naman, siguro maging more enhancement siguro sa graphics. But again, I'm excited for the rumor. Again, guys, please take it as a grain of salt muna. Though it's a rumor, but excited ako for the game. Yun nga lang, nasa PS5, so sana maganda yung yung kalalabasan niya in the future once na-release siya.
Right. Chino, I know you played some fighting games, and that you've played Marvel back in the day, and you're a huge Mortal Kombat fan. So how do you think this is going to mesh up? Because there's some comments here that I would like to read later. But for you first, I mean, how do you see this game playing out? This is exciting for me. What about you?
I'm actually excited, pero nakakatakot lang kasi, NetherRealms has just one design for all their fighting games, like Injustice, Mortal Kombat is very very similar, diba? So I don't agree kay Raffy regarding dun sa pagiging bloody niya, because it's going to just be another, Mortal Kombat-esque game kung ganun siya. Katulad yan ang sinabi ni Joshua Ganayo here. He wants it to be more fluid. And same as me, I want it to be a lot more, active. Kasi alam naman natin yung Mortal Kombat animation seems tight. No, it's in ever since naman ganun na talaga eh. No, comparing it to Capcom's fighting games, mga Marvel vs. Capcom, 'di ba? Ibang-iba siya eh. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect in terms of gameplay. Definitely, sobrang excited daw because Marvel and DC will be coming in one game. Pero I hope they do something new kasi if it's going to be just like Injustice, I don't know. I don't know what to expect actually. Sana nga hindi maging Injustice to.
Right. I mean, NetherRealm Studios have always gone for the, realism route, despite the fact that they produce very ultra-violent, gory games.
I mean, Injustice is good. Injustice is good for me. Pero,
Marvel.
Well, I guess I'm just expecting something new. I don't see Marvel characters being like that.
But it would be cool to tag in and out because there's also what they said that there could be a 2v2 tag game, which is great if it's a Marvel.
Yeah.
But ikaw, Cap's not a very fighting game person. I mean, I know he plays fighting games, but this is not the very modern ones. So knowing you've played Marvel fighting games and DC oriented fighting games in the past, what's your take on the thing?
Dahil it will be released in a next generation platform, no. My expectation is sana smooth yung gameplay all throughout. Kasi I've seen the difference, no, between the Marvel versus Capcom Infinite versus Injustice 2 4K gameplays. Pag tinignan mo kasi yung difference nila, parang medyo fluid, mas fluid sa akin ang Marvel versus Capcom as opposed to the Mortal Kombat kasi they're trying to achieve realism nga dun sa Mortal Kombat so in Injustice rather. So with that being said, magkakatalo yan sa anong type ng gameplay, 1v1 ba, 2v2, storyline, and yung overall feel ng game. Kasi this is a crossover na we've never seen before, no? Comparing two big comic giants, and let's see how it's gonna end up. But for now, again, although I'm excited, I'm still taking this one in a grain of salt.
Right. I mean, giving a little bit of points to Marvel, I think, giving a little bit of points this time to NetherRealm Studios and Injustice. What DC and Injustice has in terms of gameplay is that their storylines in their games are always great. I mean, I love the fact that the story is more robust for DC, but in Marvel it's kind of thin, no? Would you agree, Almond? I mean, Marvel is more of the active gameplay type, whereas DC, Injustice, and NetherRealm Studios focus on the story of their games.
Yeah, well, the difference between the Capcom and the NRS games, yung Capcom kasi is more on the fighting game talaga eh. Like, it stayed to its roots, 'di ba? Whereas NRS, ginandahan nila yung story nila, 'di ba? Single player content, I'd go for Mortal Kombat and Injustice, 'di ba? Pero kung maglalaro ako ng something like competitive, doon ako sa mga Capcom games like Fighter, mga Marvel versus Capcom. Pero maganda ang Injustice games. What I'm expecting this game to be, it's gonna be more like Injustice, pero I'm hoping to see something new. Not just, the typical Injustice game, pero ang napaka exciting dito is kung anong storya maisusulat nila at mailalagay nila dito sa games na to. Kasi if you look at Mortal Kombat, the NetherRealms story, 'di ba? Ang gaganda, 'di ba? So I'm excited for this. This is one of those rumors na half confirmed because Ed Boon is really teasing it. Yeah.
I just want to point out that the look of Ed Boon's face is classic. Man, it's like he may have intended it, he may not, pero parang, I'm kind of not sure if I said it, Although, what do you think about this, though? Joshua said something very interesting. Fast forward into the future, and it's Jump Force, but with Marvel and DC characters.
No, it's never going to be like that.
No.
What if? What would you feel about it? How would you feel about it?
I'd rather have the Injustice system.
Like this, man.
Ako, contrary to everyone else, kasi dahil nalaro ko rin naman ng Jump Force.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. No. Alam na namin yan.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead, guy. Go ahead.
I'm just saying na imagine mo yung hindi siguro Jump Force. Probably to the likes
Jump Force nga yung pinag-uusapan.
Kung Jump Force na parang may
I mean, like exactly Jump Force.
Jump Force nga, Kap.
Kung Jump Force siguro, I might give it a chance. Because yung hindi lang siya yung left and right lang di ba?
Kahit papaikot-ikot yan, Kap.
So,
I wouldn't.
Hindi. Baguhin nila yung mechanics. Baguhin nila siguro yung mechanics. So, I'm just saying, I wanna be that, I wanna be
the very best that no one ever was.
I wanna be the guy na who will contradict everyone else.
Okay.
So pagpasok sa lobby siya lang mag-isa sa online.
Right.
What?
Isipin mo Marvel and DC Jump Force yung gameplay. Tapos yung storya ganun din.
Jump Force din.
Parang Jump Force din.
Pag story ng Jump Force, I'll say no. Yung sabi ko lang, yung gameplay lang naman. Kasi, yun nga, fast forward to the future nga naman. Ang gusto siguro ni Trickster dito, correct me if I'm wrong, is the gameplay.
Pangit ng gameplay ng Jump Force. Pangit.
Dude, you have to read between the lines. Sarcastic yung pagkasabi ni Joshua diyan, Very sarcastic, Read between the lines, Kap.
I will take the sarcasm just because ayoko naman na lahat tayo mag-agree sa isang bagay.
Right. People in the comments, do you like Jump Force? Just put it there, yes or no. Jump Force, yes. Jump Force, put it in there. But yeah, I would go by everybody's statement. Take this with a grain of salt. It's half confirmed already. But looking forward to this game, whatever NRS comes up with, it would always have a very good storyline. And if it has Marvel, I hope they consult with Capcom so that the competitive scene is really, really good. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a game, right? And you want to play the game.
No,
you don't. You don't want Almond, mo?
I hope they don't consult with Capcom at all.
Oh, really? Why?
Base Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. It was a step back. It was a step back from Marvel versus Capcom 3.
Pero you have to admit, Mon, bago man sila magkaroon ng Infinite, they had a lot of good versus games.
Oh yeah.
It started with X-Men versus Street Fighter, kaya Consultancy possible, pero I agree. I hope na hindi siya magiging katulad ng Marvel versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom.
Kasi in the first place, Street Fighter 5 and Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, I hate to admit it, ginaya lang nila ang NRS when it comes to their single player content, yung storytelling ng ginaya lang nila. Pero it sucks.
Okay, let me clarify my statement. I hope they consult with Capcom, except for the guy who said all there is are functions. You guys remember that? There was this guy who talked to people were complaining about why don't you have X-Men characters in Marvel vs. Infinite? And then this guy says, oh, because it's just functions. You want Magneto? Nova can do everything Magneto does. And that is a conversation for another day. No?
Mahaba yun.
Mahaba yan. So, oh, sorry. That was just not any guy. That was Combo Fiend, actually. That was Combo Fiend who said that.
Kapitbahay ko yun,
Kapitbahay mo ba yan?
Oo.
Usapin mo, ayusin niya.
Puntahan mo nga. Puntahan mo, Mon. Sabi mo, Mother, father.
Wala na siya sa Capcom. Wala na.
Wala na. Ayusin mo ng konti yung kapitbahay mo.
They're just looking for functions, diba? Sana gumawa na sila ng Contra, yung mga Metroid, yung mga ganon. Sobrang daming functions doon.
I mean, knowing him, that's not what he would say in real life. It's just that he works for the company. That's why, it's a public statement. So of course he's gonna defend where he works.
I think he's stuck in the Mega Man era na Scissor Man. Okay na to.
It's more like yung
bring natin na scissors.
Parang ako yung spokesperson ng Capcom, 'di ba? Of course I work for the company. I can't say something bad kasi yan ang nagbabayad sa akin. Parang
I think it's lip service lang talaga yun.
Yeah.
I mean,
just knowing him.
Parang kay Ed Boon lang, no? Sorry, I think parang hindi ko dapat sabihin yun. parang ganyan nangyari sa kanya. Sorry.
Right.
Can I just add it would have been bad for Ed Boon if he actually signed an NDA for this.
Who will hand him the contract himself?
Yeah.
So, he owns the thing. Pero yeah, it would have been I think tama si Alman. We were talking about this the other day, and I think it was kind of half deliberate because it's still publicity, guys. It's still publicity. He may not have intended to say that, but he didn't ask it to be cut. Kasi he doubled down on it, and he asked it to be just there. He never asked for the interview to be cut. So I think it's intentional.
Ito pa yung tweet kagabi, 'di ba? Ni Ed Boon. So Guardians of Galaxy nag-release ng 'di ba? So he said na James Gunn worked with DC and Marvel, and then Ed Boon said the same thing with interesting emoji. So,
Anyway, this is going to be a discussion for yet another day. Even we're all fans of video games and comic books, and Marvel versus DC. The rumors that surround it is definitely merging those two loves that we all have together. So we're gonna leave it at that. Take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna be visiting this news again. But talking about Marvel, Jesus, holy Christ! Have you seen the videos that they released so far? The entire Goosebumps, the entire Studio Phase 4 reveal and the Eternals. Although here's a kicker I want to tell you. Some guys I know stopped watching Marvel after Endgame because they don't have a very high expectation. What can you say now that the videos were released? Let's start off with Almon this time. What was your initial reaction when the reel was released?
Well, nung ni-release pag yung mga news talaga na confirmed na, parang I'll just wait for it. Parang ganun lang yung reaction ko. Pero I'm still hyped talaga sa Marvel versus DC. Sorry.
As far as he is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, Almon cares nothing else about Marvel apart from the fact that it's fighting DC. Sige. Going back to my nemesis in AVX, Si Captain Mike. Wala nga Iron Man. Paano yan? Ang gagawin natin? What's your reaction, Captain?
Ako, seeing the cast na magpo-portray dun sa no, particularly dun sa Eternals. Parang gusto ko ngayon, the one thing I learned, gusto ko ngayon basahin yung mga comics nito if available, para malaman ko if it's going to
Comics? Anong comics? Anong comics yan? It's always available.
something to do with the Eternals, para maintindihan ko. Kasi i-release nila tong Eternals to na parang parang mahaba-haba tong movie na to eh. And I want to understand it in a comic book perspective and then the movie perspective, diba? Pero siyempre hindi lang yun yung movie na excited ako. I'm also excited with the Wakanda Forever. Binigyan na nila ng title. So parang na, 'di ba? Then obviously the ones na pinakita na yung Quantumania and then the No Way Home. Ako talaga when I saw this talaga, it's goosebumps. So, I mean, it's phase 5. And you saw the last few seconds nung reel na to. Yung pinakadulo.
Yeah, 4.
Phase 4 ata ka, phase 4, hindi phase 5.
Phase 4.
Phase 5 sa may Kamuning yun, sir.
Sorry.
Yung phase 5 cup, yun doon sa may BF Paranaque. Kasi marami doon subdivision yun.
My bad. It's
Purok 5. Purok 5.
Purok 5.
Pero yeah, it's a magic number at the end of the reel, right? There's 4, there's a circle behind it.
It's the number 4 for phase 4. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Other than that, Fantastic Four. I'm just gonna say it out loud.
It's the Fantastic Four symbol.
Paano? Paano
really
kung
is.
Paano kung may lumabas na shield sa gitna ng 4 tapos Captain
Mas
America 4 pala.
Mas lalo na. Kasi I mean if you've read, if you're aware of the Fantastic Four movies, diba? They've always had that symbol ng 4. It's always a different.
Yeah, it's always.
And ngayon, even though it's different, you can always recognize it as Fantastic Four symbol. So tama si Cap. It's a phase 4 symbol. Pero for those in the know, it's really the Fantastic Four symbol.
Hindi, yun nga, bigla lumabas yung shield sa gitna, tapos Captain America 4 pala, tinapos yung title.
Tapos yung shield bigla may pakpak.
Oh.
Pero yung na yun, yung the fact na yung logo na yun ng Fantastic Four sa dulo has the Marvel Studios sa gitna, tells you na there are more greater things that's gonna happen.
Right. Ikaw pa, Raffy, I mean, and you saw this very recently. How did you find the movies? Let's focus on the movies. Isa-isahin natin. So you have Shang-Chi. Yay or nay? In terms of excitement.
Yay.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Ako yay na nay kasi interesting ako kung bakit Love Thunder yung niya. Why is it? Actually, I do have a little idea, but I just want to know. Kaya yay or nay ako dun sa
It's because of Jane Foster, definitely.
Oh, dito ba yung magiging yung female Thor? Tama ba? Oh.
Naging she replaced Thor at some point.
Oh, okay. Magiging yay yan. Siyempre, pag ganun.
May picture nga sino yung actress? Si Queen Amidala.
Natalie Portman.
May picture siya na mamuscles siya. She grew muscles, man, for this role. Nagpalaki siya, so that's good.
Right. I mean, of course, you wouldn't have to have a dainty Thor goddess, One movie that I'm really interested in, one that's really meh for me, was I found the Marvels to to be really interesting. Not that I'm looking forward to it immensely. It's just that because you're gonna have 3 people there. You have Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. You have, and then there's a photo of Kamala Khan, right?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. And then of course you have Monica Rambeau, right? So because of the recent,
who was the original Miss Marvel?
Correct. And you now have these 3 heroes in one movie. It's interesting because Captain Marvel didn't really do that well, and now they're giving them 3. I think, in my opinion, Kamala Khan is there to draw the attention of people because I think that's what they want to see.
In the words nga of Brie Larson, Kamala is the future.
Ako talaga, I feel that Kamala Khan is too early in the process.
Yes. Pareho tayo. Like,
I think she's too early in the process.
Masyado siya fan service lang eh. I mean, who knows her outside of the comic movies, right?
Sometimes that's what's wrong with the industry. They think that they're doing fan service, pero isipin mo, I mean, Kamala Khan, kaya ako naisip na sobrang early pa niya, is hindi nga nila masyadong hindi niya masyadong na-emphasize yung story ni Captain Marvel eh. Diba? There were sobrang daming iterations ni Captain Marvel. From Miss Marvel, from War Hawkman, then dun sa recent Captain Marvel that we know now. Sobrang daming nangyari sa kanya, and I was actually looking forward to having them go deeper to that story. Pero with Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau, parang masyado na lang siniksik yun eh. Parang feeling ko pinilit para lang din magustuhan yung Captain Marvel movie. It's really a Captain Marvel movie with fan service para lang magustuhan. Pero I think Kamala Khan is really too early. Tandaan
nyo, yung huling fan service ng Marvel, si Ralph Bonner yung lumabas. Kaya huwag kayong
ano?
Yung huling fan service sila, si Ralph Bonner yung lumabas.
Fan service, no? Kala natin yun na eh. Fan service pala. Okay.
Na-Bonner ka eh.
Bonner eh.
I'm really looking forward to though is the Multiverse of Madness. Yun talaga ang inaantay.
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, that is the movie to watch. I mean, hindi naman sa I couldn't care less dun sa iba, pero if there's one thing that I'm gonna watch in the entirety of Phase 4, it's Doctor Strange.
It actually, ironically, it's very strange kasi di pa natin alam kung ano yung mangyayari talaga eh. And this could serve as a gateway to other movies that are coming out. Like, napag-usapan na natin ito before, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Mutants, baka lang, a new Wolverine, yung mga ganun ba?
Nakapusta ako dyan, tandaan nyo, kaya yan ang gusto kong panoorin. Kaluluwa ko ang nakapusta dyan. Pag
nakita ko si Hugh Jackman, automatically maiisip ko Old Man Logan.
Matic, no?
Yeah.
Remember, BJ, yung pinag-uusapan natin about WandaVision? Diba? So, yung mga hindi na ipinakita sa WandaVision, itutuloy sa Doctor Strange kasi Doctor Strange was originally appeared sa he was gonna appear sa WandaVision, 'di ba? Pero due to COVID and other things, ang daming hindi nangyari na dapat mangyari sa WandaVision. Isa na dun yung Mephisto na teorya
yung Mephisto.
Yeah.
Gusto niyo meron akong little bird tweet ngayon. Hindi naman siya actual, kaya bird statement.
Si Ralph Bonner yung Mephisto eh.
He stated, some people might say, it would have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, but it would have taken away from Wanda. We wouldn't want to end the show to be commoditized to go to the next movie. Here's the white guy. Let me show you how power works, he added. That was an actual statement regarding to what Almond said. As Doctor Strange was cut from that because they simply don't want him now to be the white guy who shows powers. Yun naman ang trabaho ni Doctor Strange. But anyway, that's That's a very special tweet from my little birds. There, bago tayo mag-away-away about that. Okay? I really think that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige at the helm, they have a lot of stuff to watch out for. That is really, I just hope they don't spend so much time on the fan service. Because here's another example of fan service: the PlayStation AI that reduces the skill difficulty for games. I mean, there's really not much to say about this. This is an interesting piece of news that translates to an interesting way to use technology. My personal thought of it is that no, I would not want the AI to reduce the difficulty of the bosses for me, just so I could feel good about myself. What about you? I know Papi Raffy and Captain Mike play single player games a lot. What are your thoughts on that, starting with Papi Raffy?
No. Actually, I yes, I played single player action adventure games. I play on the normal mode. Siguro may times lang talaga naglalaro ko easy mode. Pero yung maglalagay ka pa ng easy just to please yourself na natapos mo yung game doon sa tinakda ng AI dahil doon sa ability mo. No, parang come on, guys. You're playing the game just for fun and not pleasing yourself. Again, guys, just play the game. Don't actually, ito yun eh. Para ka nang laro ng Mario o na super easy level. Parang ganun yung nilalaro mo. Or Rockman or Mega Man. So, sobrang dalig-dalig ka na. Parang tinapos mo lang siya na ilang oras. Kaya nga, masaya pa rin talaga ang mga good games to play. Kahit yung mga difficulty is nasa normal lang or hard mode. At least na-enjoy mo siya. Kahit ilang beses ka mamatay. Tapos masaya pa rin yun. It's a no for the AI.
Before we get to Captain Mike, there's some interesting talks happening on the chat. Particularly, Joshua said, Third Strike, Left 4 Dead, and Resident Evil 4 already had this mechanic built in the system. Like, for example, in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, keep losing to Gil, Gil will become dumber. The AI will ease up. Same thing for Left 4 Dead. Same thing for Resident Evil 4. What do you think about this, Cap? That this is already happening?
For someone who played old school games, can they just give us that opportunity to beat the AI? Hindi mag-a-adjust yung AI sa atin. Kasi, kaya nga, back in the day, there's easy, difficult, and hard mode eh. Kung ikaw yung tipong, like let's say you're 9, 10 years old and you're playing this game, you could have chosen the easy one, di ba? Pero kung yung may mga kagaya ko na gusto talagang ma-challenge talaga yung skill sa pag-press ng buttons or outsmarting the enemy, I could have, pwede ko i-choose yung hard mode. Let the humans give us that option. Yung mga AI na yan, you allocate that resource to better things. Leave the games alone.
I think the technology here is very it's really the intuition of the machine, of the AI to really just learn and adjust to your play style. Let's play more competitive. Let's talk to more competitive players. Lalo na to si Noch tsaka si Almond.
Yeah.
Starting off with Noch. Noch is well balanced here. He plays fighting games, he plays competitive games, and he also enjoys RPGs. Imagine, Noch, the question for you. Imagine Suikoden has an AI adjuster.
That's stupid.
See?
Guys, RPGs have never had this difficulty setting. Lalo na yung mga Japanese RPGs, pagpasok mo ng Breath of Fire, di naman tatanungin, gusto niyo po ba ng easy, medium, or hard? Walang ganun eh. RPGs are for the story eh. Kaya ka grind eh. Kaya grind. Pero, this issue has already been done for so long. Matagal na may ganito eh. Pero it's mostly for the action adventure games. Katulad ng, for example, if there's a boss na hindi nyo matatalo, may prompt na parang, ay, parang nahihirapan ka, sir. Gusto niyo bang easy na lang para para hindi kaya mong talunin? Parang ganun yung lumalabas eh. 'Di ba? So, it's just Sony's way of stating na, oh, guys, pag naging okay to lahat, lahat ng games namin may ganun. The industry has always been very, very generous with fanfare. I think this is just another marketing initiative for them. Pero please, leave the RPGs alone, man. Sobrang ibang-iba yon. Ibang-iba yon. Ito tatanungin ko. Mon, sa Skyrim ba? Ano yung difficulty levels ng Skyrim?
Sobrang dali nung laro na. Kahit legendary mo pa yun, sobrang dali. Kaya nga may mga mods eh.
You just have a little, you have to use your kokote a bit.
I mean, sa akin, kung mag-a-adapt din to kung gaano ka agaling tapos hihirap yung kalaban, I think it's fair. Pero yung let's say yung tawag dito, yung mag-a-adapt para maging madali or something, parang insulto. Pero again, it's AI, wala pa ako tiwala sa mga AI pagdating sa ganyan eh. I mean, I will welcome this feature as long as I can turn it on and off. Diba? Yeah. It's not really a big deal for me kasi dati, tandaan nyo, actually nabanggit nga sa comment eh. Kasi nung nabanggit tong usapan na to, ang una ko naisip yung Devil May Cry 3. Yeah, so,
yung kay Virgil.
Yeah, yung kasi, yung unang release ng Devil May Cry 3 sa PlayStation is yung I think yung normal is yung hard difficulty ng Japan. Yun yung na-release sa US. Yung normal ng US is hard difficulty ng Japan. 'Di ba? Parang ganun yung storya. Kaya sobrang hirap ng Devil May Cry 3 noon. Kaya naglabas sila ng nung Virgil edition or special edition na na Devil May Cry.
Madalas may ganun yung mga special editions eh. Pero sa tingin ko, let's just take it for what it is really. Yeah. This is really for the Soulsborne games, yung mga Sekiro type of games na talagang meant to be hard. I think this is for it. Kasi halos lahat naman may difficulty setting. And katulad ng sabi ni Almond, it's not really a big thing for us gamers. Kasi as long as natatagol mo yung easy, medium, hard difficulties, it's all really the same. Pero yung Soulsborne kasi, like Bloodborne and then Dark Souls, wala naman silang difficulty at all. It's really naka-extreme difficulty na lahat yan. So I think that's where the issue is.
Yeah. Remember, 'di ba yung mga Naughty Dog games nga di ba? Kapag parati ka namamatay, i-reduce nila yung difficulty sa iyo. 'Di ba? Tatanungin ka nila, do you want to reduce the difficulty? 'Di ba ganun? Mga Naughty Dog games.
Right. I would agree with you guys when you said that this doesn't really matter unless you cannot toggle it on or off. I mean, to me, it has to be selectable. I'm okay with this. Sabi mo nga, if it also adjusts to your skill, that you will, to fight off a harder opponent because it's too easy for you, that's fine. But let's just keep the easy, normal, extra hard difficulty. Notorious to kasi na-experience ko yun. I died with Virgil and the game mocks me by asking me, hey, this is too hard for you. Want to go easy? No.
I'm appalled.
I'm easy? No. Bitch? No. No.
Do you dare?
Remember, hindi tandaan nyo yung dati di ba, yung Super Mario 2, hindi nilabas sa US kasi sabi nila masyado mahirap to para sa mga American player.
Correct.
Ginawa nila Doki Doki Panic yung Super Mario 2.
Correct. They based it on Doki Doki Panic, and then they finally released Super Mario 2, and they called it the hidden levels. But it's really just Super Mario.
It's really just hard.
Yeah, it is hard though. It is really hard. And that talking about these things, as long as it's you can turn it off, I'm fine with it. And again, going by what Chindo said, fanfare, a little bit too much of anything, whether it's water, fanfare, or air, will always be bad for you. But moving to the idea of fanfare, guys. I think with everything that we've talked about today, Marvel versus DC, the Marvel and then the difficulty setting of the PlayStation. There is one common denominator.
Teka, may nagkakarambulan sa background. May nagkakarambulan. Nagrarambulan sa
may kaaway
background.
ata si Venus dyan eh.
Sorry.
Kakarambulan.
Sasabihin ko pa lang eh.
Sorry, I was supposed to press on mute eh. I'm sorry, hindi ko na. My bad.
Hindi, sasabihin ko nga eh. The one common denominator is fighting. Ayan, na-fight ka tuloy. But yes.
Mukhang intensive tracks at shocks sa kabila eh.
There is nothing more fanfarish. There is nothing more combat related, and nothing more has stoked our hearts than the advent of fighting games. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where we are gearing up right now. This is where we take a look, and it's May, right? And we're going to be taking a look at a lot of fighting games this month because I would say, and I think the guys will agree with me when I say that the fighting game industry is the fighting game genre is such a monumental game changer when it first came out that a lot of the games out there tried to follow suit based on just one game, and there's only one game that you would say as to be the greatest overall fighting game. In fact, it is the fighting game. We're going to be taking a look at the history of Street Fighter. In this segment, like we like to call,
stay a while and listen.
Kala ko dead or alive.
Dead or alive, yeah. Pero I feel, ladies and gentlemen, guys, I feel that before we get into the discussion, I think, are we equipped to talk about this? Ikaw, tanungin kita, Almond, ikaw ba pare, pag tinanong ko, kaya mo bang i-discuss ang Street Fighter ng ikaw lang?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay, sige. Ikaw, Kap, kaya mo ba na ikaw lang mag-discuss ng Street Fighter?
Not in its entirety, no.
Okay. Papi Raffy, Papi Chino?
Konti lang.
Okay.
Pero feeling ko may kulang. Feeling ko parang kahit ipagsama-samahin natin yung game knowledge natin, I don't think it will be enough.
I think so too.
Kaya lang. Konami code.
Right? Even if we put up, down, left, right, BA, select, start, up, X, down, B, LYRA, it wouldn't help if we're the ones who's only going to tell it. So for this edition of the G podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to get in our member of the roster, I think. And I think there's a new challenger coming. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to welcome and join me in welcoming our guest for this month and for this show, the secret boss of the Secret Base Gaming Lodge and Restaurant, none other than Mr. Mark Calvin Cuevas. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, sir.
Yeah. Boss.
Hello. Hi.
Ayan yung laruan sa background. Tignan yung pare yung mga laruan sa background.
Nabanggit na namin yan, Mon. Ano ko na yung Wolverine ni Boss Calvin.
Grabe. Actually, ang hinihingi ko dyan pare yung cabinet. yung glass cabinet.
DJ will benefit from that cabinet, I swear.
Definitely. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Sir Boss Cabs. Kamusta po? Secret Boss, welcome. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Doing great so far.
So we're gonna be needing your help a little bit. You know, we're gonna get into the whole discussion of your background and all that. Pero we need a little bit of help, boss. We need help. And we're going to take a look at one of the most, if not the most, influential video game of all time, and that is Street Fighter. And I know this is one of your favorite games. Tama. Tell us what's your history with Street Fighter first. Let's start off with that.
Well, of course, lahat naman tayo naglaro siguro ng Street Fighter, especially yung mga early days niya. Street Fighter na mauna pa. Ang pinaka, I think, nahawakan ng karamihan is Street Fighter 2, di ba? Yun yung ating pinaka-favorite. Nandyan yan sa mga ating mga Famicom. Pero for me kasi, nagsimula din sa mga tinatawag na videohan. Kung familiar kayo doon sa mga ganon.
Videohan.
Videohan. Kami kasi, lumaki kami sa isang, parang community or parang lugar na tabi-tabi at meron kaming videohan doon na pinupuntahan kay Aling Selly, parang gano'n. And then yun yung maghuhulog ka pa ng coins and then yun doon talaga nag-start yung love ko for fighting games. Iba-iba pa noon yung nilalaro natin pero talagang above talaga yung iba yung dating nung Street Fighter na yung nalaro. So uso pa noon yung pag magre-reserve ka ng points mo, ilalagay mo sa cab para sabihin mo next ka, ganun okay, next ako ha, parang ganun and doon nagsimula.
Biglang pinitik yung coin yun wala siya time ko. Di ko alam.
nangyayari talaga yun, yung nakapila yung mga tokens mo.
Nakapila yung tokens or barya, dati.
Nauso din ba sa inyo, boss, yung may mga sumusundot sa loob ng hulugan?
Oo,
sumusundot
actually, isa ako sa gumagawa pag walang bantay, mga kabataan natin, sumaganong kama. Wala si Alex Eli.
May barkada ako, Boss Calvin, dati sa Glicos, kung alam niyo pa yung Glicos, naalala niyo ba yun?
Yeah.
May barkada ako sa Glicos sa may Alabang Town Center. Pag pupunta kami doon, yung Street Fighter 3, naka-unli lives. Kaya automatic mo, bahala na kayo yan.
Ayan, mga ganun, mga technique na pinagbabawal.
Pinagbabawal na technique.
Right.
So yeah, doon nagsimula yung love ko for games, actually, for games itself, and yeah, especially the fighting.
I just want to say that when Boss Calvin entered the conversation, our Avrain Francis sent us 20 stars already. Pagpasok.
Hey!
Maraming salamat. Boss, pwede labas ka nga ulit, tapos pasok ka ulit. Baka may dumating pang ba. Okay lang.
Hello.
Maghulog yung 1,000 no?
Di ba? Iba kami sa G. Ganito kami sa G, pare. We have the secret boss. And very apropos yung pangalan. Secret base, secret boss. And that's true. Street Fighter, you cannot grow up in the Philippines playing the video games in the video arcades. Kung hindi ka nag-Street Fighter. Diba? Wala yan. Hindi ka pwedeng nabuhay sa Pilipinas at naglaro ka ng arcade, ng joystick, na hindi mo alam ang Street Fighter. And Street Fighter's been around for a long time, dating back 1987, 86, when the very first Street Fighter came out, and it had the weirdest controls ever. This is one of those games na you would be surprised to have had the sequel. Parang, why did this game even have the sequel? And little did we know at the time that the sequel will shape the gaming industry forever. For you to play the game, there are two buttons na malaki, right? And depending on how hard you hit the thing, it will produce a light, medium, or strong punch or kick. Na-emulate siya ngayon, but you can't, experience the same thing anymore because there's no more pressure sensors on the controllers. And right now, fast forward to 2021, you now have Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, which our resident Demon Ravenize plays very, very, known for his Rashid.
Yeah.
Rapido. Yan. I wanna go around the table now that the secret boss has already told us about Alex Eli and Glicos from Gino. There's nothing but love and nostalgia for this game. I want to share I want you guys to start telling me about your Street Fighter experience. Starting off with, of course, Papri Raffy, who is probably the newest in the fighting game experience, right? So what's your Street Fighter story, and what is it that you like about it?
Siguro, dating back then, siyempre, elementary days, I already played Street Fighter, pero hindi ako masyado talaga ma-fighting games noon. I used to play either i-Honda, which is isa sa mga paborito ko, at saka si yes, i-Honda, then Chun-Li, then nag-ano din kay Blanca. It was fun naman. Yun nga, yung nakikita ko ngayon mga bata na gumagamit ng ballisting thing na may scratch tape tapos may t-shirt kasi doon sa
Ganon. Ganon.
Ginaganon? Yun. So, well, as played, sa fighting games naman siguro, naglalaro din naman ako ng ibang fighting games besides Street Fighter, pero ngayon lang recently hindi na. Pero I still love, pag may chance talaga, I would definitely play ulit ng fighting games, like Street Fighter.
Correct. Captain Mike, the story of Street Fighter has gone a long way. What's your favorite Street Fighter iteration?
Hirap. Pero, nag-start kasi ako sa
Hardest question.
Na-introduce sa akin ng Street Fighter noon when I was still in the US. Yung una, hirap galawin ng controls. I don't know what to do, ganun. My best siguro or my favorite iteration of it is yung Super Street Fighter. Yung talaga magpo-produce sila ng mga super moves nila. And then there's that one moment na nagpakita yung special character doon. Dun sa ending ng laban ni Ryu to M. Bison nun in the form of Akuma. Yun yung parang sabi ko, No, hindi kasi ako makalaro nun eh. So I was just watching it. So nakita ko yun. Sabi ko, who's this guy? Ganun ang fascination ko nun eh. Kaya nung nagkaroon ako ng opportunity to play another Street Fighter para i-unlock si Akuma nun, ginawa ko talagang I wanted to be the cool guy nun eh. So yeah. So yun yung favorite version ko na Street Fighter.
Right. Sige, ito si Chino. I had the opportunity to play with Chino once. In one of his streams. Remember that? You were streaming back then, and
I was practicing.
He was practicing his Ryu, and then I was able to play with him, and I had a great time playing with Chino. Do you like Street Fighter 5, or is there another Street Fighter version that you like?
Actually, ang paborito ko talagang Street Fighter iteration is the Street Fighter Alpha series, and the story went way back before Street Fighter 2, and I'm a fan of history kasi, and I really want to know the history behind, the lore behind this and that, and seeing long hair Ken and yung batang Ryu, naalala niyo yung cover nun, parang nakaharap si Ryu doon, white pa yung bandana niya, tapos si Akuma nakatingin doon, and sobrang ganda lang ng story, and I felt that when I played it in the consoles before. Wala pa madalas sa console sa console na ako naglalaro nun. I really loved how they made that story. Sobrang gustong-gusto ko siya.
Okay.
BJ, sige. Bago tayo magkwentuhan, gusto ko batiin ni boss yung mga bumabati sa dami bumabati sa kanya.
Nga pala, ito na, ang dami na sila. Boss, nakikita mo ba yung mga chats mo? Pakibati naman yan, mga fans mo yan,
Teka.
Shoutout pa na.
Shoutout everyone. Hindi ko nakikita yung comments, pero yeah, but thank you for the support, everyone. Friends natin yan.
Sabi ni Carl Erickson, Boss Calvin, hello daw.
Hello Carl, yes.
We also have Jack.
Tambay daw siya dun.
Yeah,
Right.
Everyone.
Yeah, marami nagbumabati sa'yo, boss. Talagang boss eh. But it's something I want to, before I ask Almond, I want Almond to sport his t-shirt again because I think this is in tribute of you eh. Come on. There is no other iconic boss. Pag sinabi mong boss, hindi mawawala sa listahan yan.
Yeah.
Sega in Japan, Bison in the US, otherwise known as the
Dictator.
Pero ito si Almond, he's very well known for his Rashid. A lot of people, he has garnered a lot of respect, and he's almost carried, legendary status pa naglalaro siya sa online. whether it's casual or surely professionally competitive. One other than Rashid, I've seen you play Zangief. So who is your real main given the choice?
Si Banana. Si Banana daw yung main niya.
Yeah,
Matindi ka,
Heart.
Sa totoo lang, sa
ano yun?
totoo lang sa Street Fighter 5 kasi si Zangief ang una kong choice talaga, si Zangief. Kaso nung naalala mo, Boss Calvin, yung first season ni Zangief, 'di ba? 'Di ba ang pangit ni Gief na? Ang dami nagsasabi na pangit si Gief. Pero sa 20% na nagsasabi, solid na character daw si Gief. Like no one knows how to use Zangief at that time until Itabashi Zangief, 'di ba? Came in. Oo. Pero sa akin talaga Zangief talaga kaysa Rashid.
Zangief talaga, given the choice. By the way, if you guys are interested, Street Fighter characters are most of them are based on real people. Zangief is actually named after Victor Zangief. That's the real name here. And talagang iconic ang itsura nito. Pero he's actually based on Victor Kolov. You know, the way he looks. So anyway, you've been playing Street Fighter, and I guess, the highlight of the conversation is, you and Boss Calvin have been Street Fighters for the longest time. What would you say would be the best iteration of the game, number one? And other than Zangief being your main, who's the worst ones that you've encountered in terms of characters for Street Fighter? Ang dami niyan eh. Ang daming version of Street Fighter, ang daming characters. Tell us about your journey. Let's start off with Boss Calvin this time. What's your favorite one? Who's your main? Kasi napapanood ka namin by the way, head on over to Secret Boss Gaming on Facebook. Check him out. He streams. Tayo, boss, what's your favorite?
Syempre yung classic na SF2 talagang hindi mawawala yan sa number 1 sa list. Kasi for me, parang that started everything. For me, parang doon tayo talaga na-expose doon sa Street Fighter genre. No? For me kasi, I think the first one kasi hindi naman ganun kaputok unlike the second one. But for me kasi, since after that, medyo hindi na rin ako masyadong nakapaglaro nung ibang I played the games pero hindi sobra, unlike nitong SF5, no? Dito namin pinor ni Almond yung aming oras, nag-training kami and all, and talagang it consumed us, especially during the early days of the game, So I think bukod dun sa classic na 2, my favorite would be SF5. No? Yan yung although I'm not really sure if some people will agree with me. Di ba? Marami kasing hindi naman din talaga agree na about SF5. But for me, that's my favorite. And yun nga, dun mas nag-grow yung career ko din as a fighting game player. And yun, I main Urien, and many experience na rin with the character, especially sa mga tournaments and also. Parang pag-isipin ko, magaganda yung ibang game pero yung pagdating sa memories and mga kumbaga yung pagsasama namin ng main character ko and mga na-achieve namin, parang laging special sa akin yung SF5 for me.
Nice. Before we get that out, I don't know if Boss Calvin is reading the comments, but a certain Shekina Cuevas said, "Wash out Secret Boss." Oh. Let me read some of the comments here. Some of them, sabi ni Joshua, some of them are based on JoJo characters. That's true. I'm just sad they removed his banishing flat. This is, Zangief's ability to counter the projectiles. He's also said we can never forget the blistered history of Street Fighter the movie, the game. Yan pag-uusapan talaga natin yan, mga pare. And Carl Erickson said, to end the confusion sa FGC fighting game community, Dictator is M. Bison or Vega. You have Boxer, which is Balrog and M. Bison in Japan. Balrog US, Balrog US, M Bison Japan, and Claw, which is Vega in the US and Balrog in Japan. I mean, that's what Carl Erickson. I think that's correct. Right. And look, there's a question: does Street Fighter Cross Tekken count? Do you count that as a Street Fighter game?
Yung Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Yeah, would you consider it as a Street Fighter game, or is it?
Yeah. I mean, medyo Hindi kasi ang maganda naman yung game na yon. Nagka-problema lang talaga kasi yung sa gem system and yung mga yung DLC content na which is nandun na sa disc, nakalock lang. Yun lang yung naging problema niya talaga. Pero other than that, it's a good game.
And the gems.
Yeah, yung mga gem system nga.
Kind of ruined it.
Diba they had 2 iterations for that? One was yung similar to the Tekken graphic style, and the other one was more Street Fighter.
It was planned pero hindi siya nangyari. I mean, I think siguro dahil nga sa sales ng Street Fighter Cross Tekken masyadong mababa, tsaka yung reception hindi siya well received. Kaya siguro hindi nila tinuloy yung project. I mean, yun lang ang opinion ko. Kaya siguro hindi siya natuloy.
But Street Fighter is such a heavy player in the industry that it not just stayed in video games. It even went out into other media. If you take a look at it now, there's even a comic book or a manga made by Udon. It's there. It has bled into movies also. You've seen Street Fighter the movie where Raul Julia is the best M Bison dictator is there ever. And you also have the web series, the web movie Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, which is probably one of my favorite Street Fighter movies out there. But did you also know that there was a movie? I think this was back in kailan ba to? 1993. This is a Hong Kong movie called Future Cops. And it was Future Cops in the US, pero yung actual title niya is Super School Tyrant, where there's these Chinese guys that are dressed in Street Fighters and they were fighting. Ganon katindi ang Street Fighter, guys, and that's how it happened.
I have a trivia to add to that. Actually, there was a Korean animation. The name of the film was Street Fighter. No? So it was done by Daewon Animation, and it's really an unofficial Street Fighter animated movie. Gano'n siya unofficial. It starred like 2 people, Saeng and Sori yung pangalans nila. And they were playing Street Fighter. Then in the arcade, then biglang pumasok daw si Chun-Li. Then Chun-Li asked for their help in fighting M. Bison. Tapos they were donning the Ryu and Ken G's. So ganun ka unofficial.
Wow. I actually didn't. I am going to watch this now. Thank you. You suck. I'm now going to not sleep again. Salamat. May papanoorin na naman ako.
Alam mo naman anong ginagawa kay G, di ba? We only say the truth. We say facts here.
May tanong ako. Yung Future Cups ba, yan ba yung may guile na ginawa siyang walis? Yan ba yun? Yan ba yun?
Bakit? Yan yung yung naglabanan sila ng Hadouken tsaka ng Sonic Boom doon sa grocery.
Ayun pala yung Rainbow Edition.
Sobrang komedyante talaga yung mga actors nila, no?
Oo, si Blanca dun yung medyo bigotilyo pa nun na mama it's Street Fighter has been out there for the longest time, and I don't see it losing its impact to people anytime soon. But let me ask you, Almond, how do you think Street Fighter will progress in the future, especially now that we got 50 stars from Jovic Rodriguez? Sabi niya, nice podcast, new follower here. Hey man, welcome to the stream, dude. This is how we roll, man. Salamat.
This is how we roll.
Sige nga, ikot nga, isang ikot nga.
Wala akong space.
Wala ba?
Hindi siya iikot yan, promise.
Di ba?
Yeah, pare. I mean, let's start off with that. Street Fighter, one of the longest running game franchise ever. How do you think this is shaping today's entertainment, and how do you think it's gonna fare in the future? Ikaw, pro ka eh. So, what do you think?
Well, kasi yung Street Fighter 5 before it came out, it was heavily promoted as an esports game, 'di ba? Ano, Boss Calvin, yung mga trailers, alala mo yung mga trailer? Puro about esports, 'di ba? Yung mga
Esports,
best
yes.
moments, yung mga kung ano-ano. Yung Street Fighter 5 kasi, the original plan was to include everyone. Kasi they want like yung ang sabi nun, sino ba nagsabi nun sa Cap? Basta may nagsabi nun na they want like yung Smash approach na everyone is here. 'Di ba? Pero due to time constraints kasi nga hinahabol nila yung CPT at that time, 'di ba? Boss Calvin, yung what year was it? 2015 or 16?
Yeah, around that time, 15 to 16.
Oo. Ngayon, ang future ng Street Fighter, they're hinting na they're gonna do a reboot na time traveling. Kasi dun sa ending ni Rose, nakita mo yon boss? Yung ending ni Rose na parang she's saying na everything should go back to zero. Diba?
That's right.
So she is referencing Street Fighter Zero na babalik lahat doon. I think it's kind of interesting where they go from here. Kasi yung hindi na si Ono yung director ng Street Fighter 5, 'di ba? Yeah, he's ano 'yun?
No, what I'm saying is what I really like about Street Fighter 5, especially that you mentioned Rose, which is one of the latest characters to be added to the roster, is that it really made an effort to call back other Street Fighter games, which probably is with the exception of Street Fighter 1. Lahat ng bosses nandyan. Nandyan si Bison, nandyan si Seth, nandyan si si Gil, diba? Tapos ngayon si yung bago si ano ba pangalan na? Kulo ko na yan. Yung supposed to be the bad guy, which is Nekali. Yan yung bagong bad guy. Andyan din si Akuma. So lahat ng bad guys nandyan. And I think you're right when it comes to the culmination of it. Nga pala, si Sagat. Sorry, how could I forget? Sagat is the OG boss. Did you know? Sagat is the big boss of the first game. And I think there's nowhere for them to go unless they create a new story. Or yung kay Rose nga, yung return to its roots, go back to zero. Sige, before we get into that, I want to ask the rest of the guys, when you play Street Fighter, of course meron kayong mga favorite characters. Sino naman yung pinakaayaw yung character? Just for the fun of it. Let me start with the boss. Kasi si boss, I'm sure he will appreciate a lot of the characters. Ayun, napapansin nyo, ang paborito ko, ayan. Pero sino pinakaayaw mong character, boss? Who's the character that you think is not even worth playing in the entirety of the Street Fighter franchise?
Kinabahan ako sa tanong mo, BJ, na isasagot ni boss. Kinabahan ako bigla.
Bukod sa Rashid Almond, na kinaiinisan ko talaga dahil nga masyadong makulas. I think in terms of characters, parang for me okay naman lahat. Siguro when it comes na lang to yung hindi ko matalo, parang gano'n. Like on our community dito sa FGC dito sa Philippines, ang pinakamahirap matalo talaga si Don, and he's using Akuma. Yan. So, Akuma, sobrang talagang ang hirap niya talunin. So talagang sobrang masusolty ka, ika nga, no? Minsan na mo na ang daya ng Akuma, parang ganun, ang daya ni Akuma. Pero ang totoo, yung madaya yung gumagamit, So parang for me, bukod sa Rashid nga ni Almo na isa ring madaya, I think Akuma talaga. Yun yung napaka sobrang dangerous niya in the hands of a very great player. So,
guys, you guys are gonna agree na medyo mukhang may ginalit nito ni Almond yung boss niya yun.
Okay lang, ilabas mo lahat. Ilabas mo lahat, Boss Calvin. Kakampihan ka namin.
I feel the salt. I feel the salt in there.
Salt Bay.
Itong Rashid nito ni Almond talagang ano yan eh. Dapat innerf yan eh.
Tinatombo pa.
Masyadong ano
Ilang
eh.
beses
Pwede
na nga
bang si
boss
Almond yung
yun?
inerf? Mismong si Almond yun.
Pwede. Gusto ko lang mag-comment doon sa t-shirt ni BJ. Maganda sana pero parang mas Hakuma Matata kaysa Akuma. para si Mopase eh. Grabe yung buhok eh.
It means no worries for the rest
of the day.
Mukha talaga siyang lion sa SF5 eh.
Oo, ganda. Ano sa tingin mo dun, boss, sa design na yun? Gusto mo yung design na yun?
Hindi, syempre classic pa din.
Classic, no?
It doesn't make sense because tingnan mo yung background ni Captain Mike. That's the Street Fighter 3 Akuma, yung may white
Yeah.
Yan pa rin.
3 is supposed to happen after Street Fighter 5. So, did he suddenly decide to shave? So, maybe tama kayo kasi siya rin eh, ayaw niya eh. Bumalik siya dun sa dati ng itsura. This beard does not work with me. Sinave niya. Sige, so ayaw ni boss kay Rashid. Just lagay na lang natin doon na Rashid. May ribat si Almond dyan? May ribat ka ba doon, pare?
Oo, meron.
Easy lang, Mon, sa ribat mo ha. Nakasalalay dito yung professional career mo.
Oo nga eh.
Gusto lang natin, papaalala ko lang ha.
Hindi,
Sige, pakinggan niyo muna si Almond. Sige, tingnan nyo. Ito, obserbahan nyo ha.
Sige Mon, tignan natin kung gaano ka kalakas, Mon. Sige.
Okay, to be fair, season 1 to 3, ayoko kay Yurian, boss. Ayoko.
We hate each other's character pala. No?
Oo, kasi tawag dito. Alam mo, ang isa sa ayaw ko kay Yurian, yung headbutt talaga eh.
Yung ganon, yung tumatalon.
Yung headbutt niya, hindi ko gusto yun. Tsaka yung tuhod. Pero yun nga, actually, eto trivia lang. Isa si Yurien talaga sa mga nilab ko na na character na nilagay ko sa training, tapos talagang sinanay ko talaga kung paano ka-counterin to. At ito pala yung storya. After namin maglaro ni boss nun, first time namin maglaro, hindi pa ako secret base nun. Hindi ko nga rin alam na
Ass kicker.
Hindi ko nga alam si boss yung may-ari ng secret base nun eh. Akala ko Yurian player lang. Yung pala secret, ito pala head na secret base. Sabi ko ayos yun ha. Ginulpi ako ng Yurian.
Okay ba yung sagot ni Almond, Boss Calvin? Okay. Medyo safe eh.
Pero nakwento na rin sa akin ni Almond before yan eh, na ganun nga.
Guys, malalaman nyo that Almond is taking it easy. Sabi nga ni Lee, ngayon ko lang nakitang nagdahan-dahan si Almond. Yeah, actually, pare, you don't start your sentence with to be fair. So, hashtag to be fair.
Oo nga eh.
You don't, man.
Parang naging iba yung tono ni Almond ngayon eh.
I-tribute si Almond boss kung papayagan mo. Ang simula niya hindi, eto yun, ganito kasi.
Yan. Ganito kasi yun, di ba? Ganito yun. Eto yung ganyan.
Hindi, kasi ganito yun.
Ngayon si Almond. Iniba mo na. Sige na nga. Iniba mo na.
Ito, malupit na kwento. So, ayun na, naglaro na kami ni Boss Calvin nun. Kilala ko na siya na head na secret base. So, I think after mga few weeks or months, naglaro ulit kami. Siya lang yung available nun, di ba? Laro ulit kayo, nag-i-stream ako nun eh. Sabi ko pa sa stream nun, first to 5 kami ni Boss Calvin. Pag nanalo tayo, lahat kayo may discount sa secret base, sugod kayo lahat. na 5-0 ako eh.
Yun lang.
Ayaw magpa-discount, no?
Ayaw magpa-discount eh.
Pakasalari ang business mo.
Kaya lang, nagpapa-shoutout na mabilis lang. Grant Revin Monsayak, nice one. Pa-shoutout na din pala sa mag-ina ko na si #BabyRJ at Farlin Jane ni Paya Monsayak. Shoutout to you.
Hello, shoutout.
Shout out, wash out.
May
Okay.
nagbigay din
Wash
pala
out.
ng stars.
Meron? Bago?
Si Joey Rodriguez.
Oy,
Yeah.
Jovic, sir!
Joey
Welcome.
Rodriguez said,
The new podcast, the follower, right?
New follower, nice podcast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tanda ko pa yung stream na yun, pare. From 100 viewers, nung natalo ko, 20 viewers na lang. Tapos dadalawa na lang nagsasalita.
Ikaw ba naman eh? Ikaw, Chino, tatanungin kita. When I played you on Street Fighter Online, you were a Ryu guy. Are you really more of a Ryu or do you main another character?
Actually, nung naglalaro tayo, it was actually, medyo bago-bago pa lang talaga ako sa Street Fighter 5 eh. I wasn't really a competitive player on Street Fighter. I was more of a Marvel vs. Capcom kind of guy. Kaya natuwa ako. Actually, si Almond, sa sobrang bait niya yon, may kwento ako. Siya yung nagturo sa akin mag-Ryu at mag-Ken. At the time, nung naglaro tayo, BJ, laro ko si Almond before you, tapos may practice namin yung combo ni Ryu. Doon ko natutunan yung mga combos na yun. Ngayon nakalimutan ko na naman. Nakalimutan ko na naman sila. Kaya di talaga ako pang competitive player. Pero kung casualan lang, syempre, lalaban tayo.
Right. Ikaw, Papi Raffy, Chun-Li ka ba? O Gael, pinalitan mo yung background mo.
Korean version, as you can see guys, ito yung Korean version ng Street Fighter, yung animation niya.
Right. Right.
Then ako siguro yung main ko talaga ever since talaga i-Honda because yung niya, yung headbutt niya saka yung Denon.
So sino ang pinakaayaw mo?
Ang pinakaayaw ko, Bison.
Ba't tinitira niyo si Almond ngayong gabi? Grabe kayo. Bison, ayaw mo na kay Bison. Okay. Ikaw, Chino, sino ba yung sa'yo? Sino bang ayaw mo?
Sa Almond yung ayaw ko. Then nakalaban ko si Rashid ni Almond eh. I have to agree kay Boss Calvin. Nakalaban ko yung Rashid ni Almond. At talagang I was trying. Sinusubukan ko talaga. Kasi I play a mean Ryu somehow. Pero grabe yung Rashid ni Almond. Hindi mo talaga alam kung anong pasok eh.
Right. Cap, are you also an Akuma fan or are you putting that there because you don't like Akuma?
Pinakaayaw ko is si Gael. Not because kasi the way I play Street Fighter kasi minsan madalas ako tumalon. And there's that
jackknife.
Oo, magdadali ng jackknife. Ako yung suki doon. So, alam mo yung hindi kasi there are girl players na mabilis mag-jackknife pero may mga girl players na who has the perfect timing to throw in a jackknife eh.
Right.
The moment you encounter that, that's gonna be the na kaagad sa'yo.
Sabi nga ni Jacob Tan, turtling. Nagta-turtle defense yun. By the way, guys, just so that you will know if you're playing against a Filipino player online, kung ang tawag nila sa move ni Gael na yun, which is actually a somersault, jackknife. Jackknife, Pinoy lang ang tumatawag doon. Another way to find out if they're playing a Filipino is that if they say akit-kit barukit instead of tatsumaki senpukyak, and that they say Hadouken or Hadouken rather than Hadouken. Saka yung Shoryuken laging mahaba yung Shoryuken. Yan. Pinoy yan. Laging Pinoy yan. Okay, so that is, that really is the point of Street Fighter, is really to bring different people together. And then suddenly, you hate each other because somebody has a character you can't beat or whatnot. With its evolution, and what I really like about Street Fighter is that it did not stay as Street Fighter alone. And naging shtick na ng Street Fighter yan eh. Na ngayon, it's being copied by Marvel and DC. As we were talking about Ed Boon's kind of teaser, Street Fighter kind of bled into other games, which, as mentioned by Chino earlier, Capcom started creating fighting games that are not Street Fighter, but eventually included Street Fighter in it. X-Men Children of the Atom, if you guys remember, had a secret character a secret character to be selected as Akuma. Akuma's there. Akuma, I think, made its first playable debut in X-Men Children of the Atom. And then the rest is history. You have X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, tapos meron pang mga Capcom Fighting Evolution, Capcom versus SNK.
May add lang din ako, BJ. There was a game in 1992. It's called Bart Operation Thunderstorm. And at some point in the game, lalabas si Ryu doing a Dragon Punch, a Shoryuken. Tapos pag tinira mo daw yung Ryu na yon, sobrang daming power-ups daw lalabas. It's similar to it's a shooter game, pero Ryu appears.
Wow. Ano pangalan, pare? Ano pangalan?
Bart Operation Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm. See, that's how it is. I mean, that's how Street Fighter is so popular that they make appearances even in other games. One thing that I've also found out was that there's a game called Capcom Cannon Spike, which is a shooter game which features Nash or Charlie, whoever you're following, and Kami. Back in 2000, it's back in Dreamcast. Let me ask you guys: did your view of Street Fighter kind of come better nung bumalik sila into the one-on-one 2.5D 2D fighting scheme, or did you like Street Fighter more when they entered the tag up, cross up kind of fighting game? Starting off with the boss again, of course. How do you feel about the Capcom tag games and the Street Fighter tag game? Sorry.
I mean, yung mga collaboration with others na.
Capcom versus Tekken,
and recently nga, 'di ba nasa Monster Hunter, 'di ba si Ryu and
right. Kasi parang naging gano'n na shtick ng Street Fighter. They'll make an appearance in another game. Parang wala na silang
I think okay din yung strategy na yan when it comes to reaching more audiences, ano? Kasi not everyone is into fighting games talaga. Pero parang, to catch their attention and yung interest nila, I think that helps too para mas mahatak sila into SF5. But of course, nakikita naman natin they're still sticking to what they do best, no, which is yun nga yung mga one-on-one fights, ano. So I think for me it's a good strategy na may mga ganong collaboration para mas kumalat pa yung sila Ryu and other famous characters ng game.
Captain Mike, ikaw, I mean, you've played some of these games too. Also with Raffy, who's pretty much, again, somebody we would like to be to baptize in the FGC. Wink, wink. We'll talk about that later. But is it better that Street Fighter collaborated with, say, Marvel and Capcom and other titles, or would you prefer Street Fighter to be just one-on-one?
The collaboration, every collaboration is amazing. Lalo na kung ang franchise kagaya ng Street Fighter is already good. So if Street Fighter was introduced to a different franchise as an addition, it's good kasi solid ang fan base ng Street Fighter. So pag inintroduce sila ng inintroduce sila sa Street Fighter versus any other game for that matter, no? Parang, maganda to kasi nandito mga Street Fighter fanatics so nandun sila. So for me, it's beneficial dun sa makaka-collab ng Street Fighter ang maa-add nila doon. And that for me is a big thing. Kasi it tells you na kahit anong laruin mo pa diyan, there will be a Street Fighter in you that you will appreciate.
So it's better that it went that way.
It is for me.
Ikaw, Papi Raffy.
Ako kasi actually I played Street Fighter versus Tekken via Xbox 360, and actually I enjoyed the game on that platform, and actually the collaboration with other franchises are good. Actually it's great actually kasi hindi ka lang, kumbaga, you're not the game is not being selfish just to stick to one game. but they're actually experiencing that they can also play these characters on other platforms, on other franchises. So it's much better to na maganda yung nagawa nila, nagko-collab sila with other franchises or other platforms.
I see. I think it's a step up in the game too. Chino, ikaw, before we tell Almond to just stick to just playing one-on-one with Rashid, mas nagustuhan mo ba yung mga tag Street Fighters, or are you more of a Street Fighter one-on-one guy?
Street Fighter one-on-one, definitely. Kasi parang for me, nabanggit ko yung Marvel vs. Capcom kanina kasi yun yung nilalaro ko talaga sa arcade. Pero pag Street Fighter kasi, it's really iconic yung 1v1 lang eh. Not to say na hindi maganda yung tagging system, but always for me, it'll always be that 1v1. Doon mo nararamdaman kung sino talaga yung tunay na Street Fighter. Di ba, Rashid?
Di ba, Rashid? Gusto mo mangyari siya yan? boss, naway kami. Nagtago!
Boss, nagyayabang si Almond lagi niya sa Rashid niya.
Sabi niya po, wala. Sige, ito. Come on. You've been playing fighting games for a long time, and I think, as much as we have Boss Calvin as our guest, I think this episode resonates and speaks to you a lot more. How do you view the Street Fighter titles now through everything that it's gone through? The 1v1s, the tag battles, even the Monster Hunter inclusion. As mentioned by Boss Calvin. Would you consider yourself more of a purist Street Fighter player, or are you getting excited whenever a new collaboration is out? By the way, the newest collaboration that I found was Street Fighter cross Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star. I saw that. There's the new one. So saan ka doon? Where do you lie on that spectrum?
Well, sa akin, back in the day, it was a big deal na naalala ko pa yung alam mo yung sa arcade, 'di ba? So may malaking screen doon ng X-Men versus So, nakwento ko na to before sa stream, pero hindi ko makakalimutan yung image na si Cyclops tsaka si Ryu nagkakamayan. Napaka-iconic nung image.
Sa intro.
Oo, di ba?
Tekken versus Street Fighter! Yun.
Nagkamayan sila. Pero now, I think it's a good way to promote the game. Kasi Street Fighter needs a lot of exposure. Talaga. Lalo na yung state ng Street Fighter games ngayon. Kailangan talaga ng exposure. Kasi gusto ko rin na maging number 1 esports game ang Street Fighter. I mean, it's the number 1 game in the FGC. I mean, not 5, pero Street Fighter is the number 1 game in the FGC. Pero I want it to be the number 1 esports game din. Pero yung Street Fighter ngayon, it has a very interesting lore. Kasi yung mga Capcom games before, Final Fight, Saturday Night Slam Masters, Rival Schools, Strider Hiryu, actually. They're all in the same Street Fighter universe. Diba? Yeah. And the reason why Strider Hiryu is included, sinasabi nila sa game na ang first Strider is si Seku. Yeah, si Seku.
So that's why he looks like Strider Hiryu when he becomes younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're saying na he's the first Strider sa Capcom universe, 'di ba? Tapos lalo na ngayon sa Street Fighter 5, Akira is is coming. Siya na yung next, 'di ba, boss? Si Akira na, 'di ba? Yung next character na ilalagay. Oh, tapos ayun pa, if they include all the characters from Final Fight, the Rival Schools, yung mga star nila, it will become like the new King of Fighters.
Actually,
Basically,
wala
yan.
ba si Guy doon sa Street Fighter 5? Wala, eh, no?
Wala. Si Cody lang.
Wala.
Oh, si Goldie.
It's funny that you should mention King of Fighters, Almon, because there is a question here. I'm going to be reading some of the comments. Sabi lang ni Joshua, what if they changed Street Fighter? And they changed like what if they did something similar to KOF? 1v1 but still counts as teams. Would you be excited in that?
No, kasi the reason why King of Fighters is unique kaysa sa Street Fighter 5. Yung King of Fighters kasi fast-paced din eh. May mga small jumps, mga normal jumps, high jumps, mga ganon. Mabilisan ng laro ng ng King of Fighters eh. Tapos I like yung sa King of Fighters, ang gusto ko yung talagang nag-i-stick ka sa pwede ka mag-mix ng mga teams mo, 'di ba? Depending on your playstyle. Gusto ko lang talaga yung traditional Street Fighter na 1 versus 1, pero I don't mind that crossover din. Tulad ng ginawa nila sa Capcom versus SNK, Marvel versus Capcom.
May tanong ako kay Almond after. Kasi napag-usapan natin yung collaboration mode, diba? So si Ryu and Chun-Li has actually Street Fighter has collaborated with Fortnite. Nilabas nila si Ryu and Chun-Li, diba? Recently lang.
Oh.
Pag si Rashid ba merong skin sa Fortnite, lalaruin mo ba? Magpo-Fortnite ka rin ba? Oh, be a Rashid. You're a Rashid player, ha? Dapat open ka to everything.
Hindi pa din eh. Kasi di talaga ako marunong Fortnite, pare. Hindi, actually, ito nga ang joke sa sa FGC ngayon. Na si Rashid, siya lang ang Marvel versus Capcom na character sa Street Fighter 5.
Right, that's true. Oh, very Marvel versus Capcom kasi ang laro ni Rashid eh. May wall bounce.
Puro airs eh.
Oo, may aerial combo.
Naalala ko, di ba pinanood natin yung preview kay Akira? Parang na tayo kasi si Akira may air combo.
Oo. I know.
may air combo si
may juggle eh.
Yeah, I think yung mechanic ng ng rival schools doon. Mechanic ng rival schools kasi yun yung nilagay nila na yun.
Right.
Teka, may tanong dito si Cheska. Ito rin, totoo ba yung boss na Shenlong? Okay, just a short trivia. So, Shenlong became Goken. Yeah.
Right.
So, siya si Goken.
What happened there was, it's a mistranslation of Dragon Punch. When the Americans translated the statement, they translation turned out to be as if Shenlong was a guy. I think Chino has the scoop on the April Fool's Day done by EGM, right? Even EGM kind of capitalized.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I think it was dalawang beses kasi pinalabas yan yung Shenlong na yan. The first one was I think Street Fighter 2 and the third one was for Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Isa to sa mga iconic and infamous April Fool's jokes ni EGM. To the point na sobrang daming nagsulat sa kanila complaining that they cannot do the cheat or the code. Kaya sobrang nagkaroon ng backlash na ito.
Right. I mean, EGM wrote something like you have to win 10 perfects, tapos no continuous.
Nagkaroon pa kami ng discussion ni Almond dyan. Pero in the end, kailangan talaga you cannot be hit by M. Bison at the end.
Oo, parang naman. Right. Oh, by the way, may pa-shoutout pala kay Chino. I think somebody wants you to shout out. Somebody's greeting you.
Shoutout sa aking kaibigan, si Jel Pelaez. Sobrang galing mag-basketball yan, guys. At tawag namin dyan sino yung Tasmanian Devil? Kasi ikot na ikot. Parang si Rashid yan, ikot na ikot.
Actually, ganun si
Actually, gusto ko sagutin tong tanong ni Paring Bidot. What about Poison's real gender? Okay, so we go way back.
Poison.
Yeah, so we go way back, 'di ba? Final fight sa Japan. So ang original sa Japan is one of the enemies is Poison and Roxy, 'di ba? Babae talaga, babae, 'di ba? Pero sa Japan, bawal kasi yung yung they have something called yung mga human rights na gano'n, bawal ka manggulpi ng babae and all. So sinabi nila na transgender si Poison kaya nakalusot, 'di ba? Yun yung dahilan nun. Yeah, and then. Tama ba? I think,
yeah.
Oo.
They said that these characters are actually male. They're just dressed as women. They're transgender. That's why it's okay to watch them get beaten up. Na medyo sinakyan ng Street Fighter. I think there's a video, correct me if I'm right, boss, there was a video of Poison walking out of a toilet for men. Parang may ganun eh. Hanapin niyo yan sa YouTube. I think it was kept ambiguous for in purpose.
Yeah. Pero sa official canon na ngayon, transgender na talaga siya. Dati babae talaga si Poison. Ayun yung unang iteration, babae talaga siya. Ngayon, transgender na siya. Sa US siya actually transgender. Hindi sa Japan. Sa Japan, babae siya. Sa US, siya, transgender.
Trans woman, yeah.
Right.
Hanapin ko yung video na sinabi mo, BJ. Haven't seen it.
Promise, man. Pakitandaan na lang, boss, ang nagsabi niyan sa'yo, kami, hindi si Alma.
Tama.
Basahin ko lang yung mga comments natin. There are a lot of guys that are commenting here. Tony Pet Joseph said, bakit po yung Kano at black person intro ng World Warrior na nagsapakan wala sa Street Fighter franchise? Any one of you guys wanna take that question on? You know those two guys in the opening of Street Fighter na nagsuntukan sa harapan?
Yeah.
Any one of you guys wanna take that on?
Yeah, actually they're the guys from Street Fighter 1. Alam ko yung isa si Balrog doon, si Mike Balrog, Mike Bison, yung isa doon. Tapos yung isa doon is from Street Fighter 1. Yun yung nila.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Actually, there's this dude, the white dude and the black guy who was in that, the two guys fighting, na-feature yan sa website ng Street Fighter 5. And I think they are characters of their own, as described by Street Fighter 5, the website. Max is one, and the other guy is Scott. That's your trivia. Okay? Yung sumuntok, the white dude was named Scott, and the guy who got punched was named Max. So Joseph, that's the answer. Why are they not included? Maybe they're not strong enough in the eyes of Bison, perhaps. Let me just read some more comments here. Joshua Clark at Sixter said, in the US home console versions of Final Fight, Poison and Roxy were replaced by Billy and Sid because they still regarded them as female. That is true. Bakit minsan si Dalsim light blue? You know when you hold your breath too long for doing yoga fire too much? That's what happens.
Yeah, cyanosis.
Right. Poison was regarded as new half in the concept art. Yes, that's what they call it. It's new half. Wait, there's one more comment that I want to read here. Ayun, going back to the SNK discussion. King of Fighters is also basically just SNK All-Stars.
Yes.
With their characters. Yan ang nagpasimula nun. Probably Smash took a liking about this. Now, it's funny that Boss Calvin and Almond were mentioning the FGC. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the end-all and be-all of the conversation about Street Fighter, one of the biggest contributions of the game is that not only it established a genre within video games, not only did it spill out over to other forms of media like comic books, movies, live action, and or animation, but it created an entire community in gaming. And that's what we're going to be talking about right now. And that is the highlight of the evening. This is G Spotlight, and let's know this is GC. Mga sound effects tayo dyan, boss. Paniniwala ka sa amin. Sound effects.
Tunog tao.
The FGC, ladies and gentlemen, or the fighting game community is the kind of is a community where Boss Calvin and Almond belongs to. And it has quite a very storied history. What you're seeing in Chino's background is one of the, if not the most iconic video in the FGC. We'll get to that bit a little bit, but this is all because Street Fighter became a thing, and that was the Street Fighter game that made the FGC prominent again back in 2008. Before we get there, I want to ask Boss Calvin, you being a prominent figure in the fighting game community, observing its history here in the Philippines. Where are we right now in terms of esports and the FGC in particular? We want to hear your insight.
Well, for me, we're on the right track, when it comes to
Boss, wait lang, boss.
FGC.
Wait lang,
Sorry.
bago ikaw magtuloy, si paring Tony nagbigay ng 174 stars. Yan, Tony, secret base.
Hello, Tony. Ayan, Actually, si Tony is actually the person who influenced me to play Street Fighter 5 competitively. So before, parang ang tawag is casuals, di ba? Casual. You just play it, you press buttons. But Tony here, together with Ben Strider, isa sa mga prominent din yan sa FGC. They taught me about the FGC. So yun nga, I think we're on the right track, with the help din ng ating mga main guys, like shout out na rin kay Boss Richard Brojan of Playbook and Garayat Concepts, a good friend of mine as well. Yun nga, we were talking last time about Rev Major, if you're familiar with it. And talagang dito ko masasabi na we're on the right track. However, pandemic happened. Ang mga plano talaga for the FGC, talagang sobrang ganda. Like, we're eyeing to have CPT or Capcom Pro Tour again. Kasi nawala yun for like a couple of years sa atin. Before nagkaroon tayo, but may mga issues and ganon. And then ngayon pabalik dapat. So imagine mo yon, si Tokido kalaban mo sa pools mo, and sila Daigo siya yung kalaban mo mamaya. Alam mo yon, ganon katindi. Yun din yung maganda sa fighting game community, especially if you're fighting competitively. Your idols, makakaharap mo sila. Parang ganon Parang the idea is makakalaban mo yung idols mo. I think isa lang yan sa mga fewer games na esports na possible yon. Parang ganon, So yun yung siguro isa sa na-appreciate ko. Pero yun, we're on the right track. Sigurado ako pagbalik ng once everything is okay na with this crisis that we're facing, I think yun nga, the best is yet to come for the FGs.
Right.
BJ, may tanong ako kay Boss Calvin. Boss Calvin, for example, for someone who wants to enter the FGC scene, ano ba yung mga usual steps na tinake nyo nila Almond, nila Doc Jimmy, when you entered nung first time nyo? Like, for example, for me, someone who is really playing competitively at di naman din ganun kagaling, let's say gusto ko pumasok sa scene, I wanna try to compete. Ano yung mga first steps na dapat mong gawin?
I think first is you have to show up to your locals, local community na tawag. We call it locals. So kung saan kang lugar, kunyari you're living in the east side, like me, Marikina, you find a place spot where you can up your game, ika nga. Pagagalingin mo yung sarili mo. So kasi that's the time na ma-expose ka sa mga fighting style ng iba, sa inputs nila. Yun yung maganda talaga pag naglalaro ka tas katabi mo yung kalaro mo. After that, matalo ka, tatanong mo, paano nangyari yun? Ano nangyari doon? Or ano yung mga plus doon? Ano yung mga minus? Ano yung mali ko nagawa? Something like that. Yun yung mga, alam mo yun, pag-uusapan nyo pa after, tas magtuturuan ka na niya and all. So, I think, yeah, you have to show up to your locals. And then yung locals na yun, once there is a big event and tournament, yung grupo nyo na yun, parang ganito kasi yan grupo-grupo, locals. Like for example, East representatives, yan. And then the North representatives, they go to that big tournament. And then, yeah, yun na, mabubuo na yung community. So, yun yung maganda siguro din sa fighting games din, Chino, is yung requirements niya is talagang hindi naman kailangan sobrang galing mo actually. No? You can compete kahit na ang skills mo ay hindi pa ganun kagaling, pero you cannot expect to win. Pero makakasali ka. And wala namang bawal, wala namang years of experience na kailangan, walang team na kailangan. You come as you are, as a person, as a player who loves fighting games, especially Street Fighter, and then you register, and then you compete. Pero syempre, hindi mo expect na manalo ka, pero that's where you learn.
Experience, no? Experience,
yes. And that's, I think, ganun din nangyari sa amin ni Almond sa before we climb our way to the, kumbaga, mas nakilala ka na or kumbaga, marami ka ng ginulpe, no? At ikaw din, nagulpi ka na rin, ng maraming beses. Pero yun nga, pag nakarating ka na ng top 8, yan, out of 500 to...
Makikilala ka na, no?
That's the time na makikilala ka na. And you'll be known na dun sa... Last
DJ,
time last time...
Go.
Nakalaban ko yung anak ni Mickey Ferriols, no? Kung familiar kayo, yung artista na
Mickey Ferriols? Sino yun?
Hindi alam ni Chino.
Huwag ka magpanggap, Chino.
Magpanggap, uy.
At sinusuportahan niya yung anak niya. She was there to support
really?
her son, and yun nga, hindi naman requirements kahit age, I think the boy was like 14 that time,
Oh, wow.
So, and talagang ayun, hindi naman siya ganoon hindi siya naka-advance sa brackets, pero yun nga, parang yun yung masaya na Tapos sabi ko, you play with us if you want. We have this secret base. Ganun.
Boss Calvin, you mentioned locals. Taga Valenzuela ako eh. Okay lang kaya kung gawin kong local spot ko ang secret base? Just question lang.
Ay, sorry.
Okay lang po kaya kung taga Valenzuela ako pero gawin kong local spot si secret base?
Yes, okay
lang. Punta ko lang.
Yes, okay lang naman. Ikaw lang talaga. Siyempre, medyo mahababang biyahe yun. Kaya nga, what we did before is we also place a local place spot sa Monumento area for the North Tips.
Sa Caloocan,
Secret base Monumento. So, yun yung, kumbaga, so meron ng South, which is Playbook, and meron din sa Mandaluyong, which is Gamepad. Mga friends din natin yan. And then dito sa North, Monumento, and then sa Marikina, ganun. Yeah.
There's a very interesting question here posted on the comments, and I'm going to read that out. This is from Jessica. She says, question to to Boss Calvin and Ravenize. So it's for the two of you. Is it easier to establish your reputation now or noon? Mas mahirap ba ang standards noon? Please answer. Let's start with you, boss.
Gusto mo ikaw muna sumagot, boss?
Sige, ikaw muna, Almond.
Ang hirap actually kasi dati para sa akin mas respeto yung dati talaga kasi dati walang online. So kailangan magpunta ka talaga sa locals mo, arcade or para makilala ka talaga. Naalala mo yung kwentuhan natin, boss, yung si Ace, 'di ba? Sabi ni Bidot na hindi daw pinapaalis sa sa upuan niya sa SM dahil sa Street Fighter 4. Talaga pinapaikot niya yung mga tao doon. Yun yung talagang reputasyon na pag may isang tao na nakaupo lang doon na hindi mo matalo-talo, yun ang talagang karespe-respetong reputasyon. Pero online reputation parang wala lang, online lang. Dalahin mo sa competitive yan, you're just another player. 'Di ba? Pero for yung mga taong talaga nakilala sa arcade scene tsaka sa locals, yun talagang mas kilala. So masasabi ko talaga yung noon. Talagang
Iba
mas
pa rin,
hardcore dati, oo.
Correct. Kaya iba pa rin tingin ko yung mga OGs na tinatawag. Siyempre,
Mm.
iba kasi yung iba, alam mo yung mga magagaling, pag naglaro sa online, makita mo ang rank mababa lang. Pero pag naglaro yun, parang
Ay, oo.
grandmaster na rin maglaro yung mga
Mm.
yan. Siyempre, una, wala sa rank yan.
Mm.
Tapos yun nga, iba pa rin talaga, especially yung mga tinatawag nga na harang. Almond, kung familiar ka sa term na yan, harang
Oo.
sa SM, sa mga Worlds of Fun, mga ganyan, time zone. Yan, yung mga harang na tinatawag, ibig sabihin yun, talagang hindi mo mapapatayo yun sa hulog ka ng hulog ng tokens o swipe ka ng swipe, hindi tatayo yan hanggat di mo matatalo yan. Tapos yun nga, nagugulat ka na lang, ang dami ng tao sa likod. So yun.
True. Are we gonna talk about Rev Major? If that's a good question, because in the last Rev Major, that was the Rev Major right before the pandemic. It was quite the community. I mean, moving away from Street Fighter a little bit, it had some iconic moments. Nobi and Son of Nobi, Daigo making an appearance, and PBE winning. When do you think we're gonna have this again? And is this something that you would want to do online? How can we do this again, boss?
Well, I talked to Boss Richard of Playbook recently lang. And parang he shared to me na he's planning to do something online this year. So probably kasi as you can see, I'm not really sure, pero as we can see, parang hindi pa possible talaga na ganong kalaking gathering for usually kasi it's September eh. So imagine mo, May na, parang not yet possible na So probably they'll do something online, but hopefully if we play our cards right here in the Philippines, kasi as we can see naman kila Almond, parang okay na dyan, Mon, di ba? Medyo advance lang kayo. Sana ganun lang, advance kayo sa amin at sumunod na rin kami. And then hopefully next year, 2022, we'll have the big event again, which we're looking for. Kasi
sana
probably we have Capcom Pro Tour na. And tas kasama pa yung Tekken World Tour, di ba? So 2022, I think, I'm claiming it will be our year.
Para ma-cover ni Gian, Boss Calvin. Ko-cover natin yan.
Oh, that's
Cover
nice.
natin yan.
We're going to be interviewing people. We're going to do it for you. Although, there's a question though. Joshua sent the question, will you stream it again? Should it happen? Will you stream it again? Should Rev Major happen? Will you do it on Twitch or on Facebook? That's a very good question. Will it be a Twitch stream or a Facebook stream for Rev Major? Boss Calvin, your idea, you think, mas okay ba siya sa Twitch or mas okay ba siya sa Facebook kung Rev Major yan?
I think we can restream pa rin. The more we reach, the better, I think. Pero since we'll be handling like Tekken World Tour or Capcom Pro Tour, Twitch talaga. So we could have international audiences. Pero we cannot, din kasi, kumbaga, sideline Facebook streaming, especially right. So, if possible, both na lang kung pwede. Twitch and Facebook. Para restream na lang.
Restream na lang yun. Restream.
Yung mga previous events, di ba, they were streamed on both platforms. Facebook and Twitch, di ba?
Yeah. Pwedeng gawin siguro sa Twitch is the English ones. And sa Facebook, since parang ang target niyan are local. Local. So Tagalog or Taglish. Yeah.
Oo, magandang idea yun.
Pwede yun.
And what about YouTube though?
Almond, anong tingin mo sa YouTube gaming?
Why not? I mean, it's always a possibility, di ba?
Yeah.
So why not?
May makukuha pa ring audience,
Oo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you buy naman restream, you can put na isang link lang for all na. So,
Right. That is if we have Converge backing you up. Hello, Converge. Hello, baka naman. Converge, kanina pa kami rito, Captain. Kanina pa tayo rito.
Kasi 'di ba yung mga Tekken World Tour, 'di ba? Yung mga Tekken World Tour, they were streamed on the official Tekken Twitch, 'di ba?
yeah,
Kaya pumapasok din siya sa YouTube talaga.
yeah, that's right.
True. And Red Major only came to be simply because the fighting game community has reached such a height that it had icons. Kasi sabi binanggit mo Daigo, Tokido, and who can discount the power of Evo Moment 37? And this is really the thing that kickstarted like the renaissance, all the way to the resurgence of Street Fighter 4. Ayan, pinaplay sa likod ni Chino. I mean, this is probably one of the most difficult things to pull off. It's so good that Street Fighter 3, the online arcade edition, had added this challenge, the Daigo parry challenge in the online thing. Where were you guys when this happened? I saw this. I could not believe it. When this came out, I had to watch it multiple times. And to be fair, I'm not anywhere good as this. I could not pull this off. Pero nasaan kayo niyan, pare? This was the moment, unbeknownst to us, the moment that the FGC is going to come back to its glory days. Before mga time nila Uncle Valle, Alex Valle sa unang panahon pa ng Street Fighter 2. Nasaan kayo niyan, pare, when that happened? Let's start off with Almond this time. Ito, huge fan ng Daigo Pari yan. Nasaan ka niya? What were your where were you when that happened?
High school ako na ito noon eh. Kasikata pa lang ng YouTube noon. 'Di ba? I mean, there were tapes before na mga tournaments and all. Nakukuha ko siya sa magazine, 'di ba? Pero itong Evo Moment 37, when the first time I saw it, parang what? Parang gulat na gulat kasi kasi alam ko kung gaano kahirap mag-parry sa Street Fighter 3. Lalo na buong super 'yun. Buong super. Dapat
15
talaga
times.
Yeah, kasi siguro mape-parry mo lang diyan, isa o dalawang hit, 'di ba? Pero the rest tatamaan ka na, 'di ba? And what's good about it, wala nang buhay si Daigo nun. Wala nang buhay. Wala nang gauge doon sa life niya. Tapos pineri niya lahat yun. Kasi parang ito yung I think ito yung moment na parang nagkalat na lang si Justin at isang chip ka na lang naman matatalo na kita di ba? So parang sige, mag-ipon na lang ako super eto, peri mo to lahat. Pineri ni Daigo lahat yun. Di ba? Tsaka think about like yung I'm sure si Daigo naglalaro yan sa mga arcades, 'di ba? Yung mga difference na mga TVs noon, 'di ba? Kasi diyan na naglabasan ata yung mga LCD TVs noon at that time 2004, mga flat TV.
During that time, yeah.
Oo. So may mga ibang input lag yan kasi there was a story sa Evo before na na about sa TV na they have to change all the TVs dahil nga sa input lag ng gaming console versus sa arcades. Yeah, may storyang ganun, search nyo na lang sa internet. Pero yung timing talaga dapat precise. Hindi siya basta-basta. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Ikaw, Chino, pare, nilagay mo sa background mo to. So there's gotta be something you gotta say about this moment, man. So what was this for you?
Actually, napanood ko na to sa YouTube The first time that I watched it. Sabi ko, grabe naman. Kasi before, di ba, pag ginagawa ni Chun-Li yan, even without her supers, di ba? Ang bilis Mabilis yung animation niya And to think someone would be able to parry not only yung kicks, pero a super, di ba, super combo. Tapos kung papansinin nyo, yung end ng combo, di ba, may high kick si Chun-Li doon sa taas. Pagtalon, parry ulit, tapos isang tama lang, tapos super na ulit ni Ken. So, grabe, ang bilis siguro ng kamay niya. Parang, paano niya na-parry lahat yun, no?
Right.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about, Evo Moment 37? Daigo didn't even win the tournament. Si Nuki. Oo, si Nuki yung nanalo, di ba?
Pero siya yung pinaka-iconic dun.
Oo, siya yung talagang iconic.
Has anybody here tried to do this at one point in their life? Like, try to do
Ako, sinubukan ko siya. I was playing with a friend. Sabi ko, try natin yung Daigo Mari. Hindi ko magawa. As ang bilis niya talaga. As in, mabilis talaga. So, your hands really have to be very comfortable with the joystick you use. And it has to, alam mo yung, hindi siya pag eh. It has to be parang fluid movements ng fingers. Ang galing eh.
Right. Ang galing nung na yan, pare na yan. Alam mo yun, nakakabilib.
Correct. And I was gonna say that, I saw a video about shout out to GoriGori Gaming when he tried to talk about these things. He not only does he have to do it with his skill, he had to do it with crowd pressure. He had to do it with under such circumstances, and he pulled it off pixel perfect timing. But not only is it like this.
Grabe yung focus, no?
Grabe yung focus niya. But this also tells you one thing, and that's what a lot of people are forgetting to see, that yes, this is an awesome thing. This is an unbelievable thing, but it makes it also a very doable thing. It connected the godhood of the skill to the people who play it and made it a very human experience. That's why the FGC is such a huge thing back then when it started. It's such an impossible thing to do, but hey, a person can do it. This is not a computer. This is not AI. And that if there are guys out there who can pull this off, I can do that too. And I think that kind of mentality is very healthy and is promoted by the FGC. I know Captain Mike plays a lot of private games, a lot of single player games. Private. I know private team games. Yeah, I swear to God. You want me to say it, Captain?
Stop it.
Okay. When you play competitively, or you compete with other people, how do you feel about the experience? Would you rather play a single player game privately, or would you enjoy doing competitive interactive stuff?
Ako talaga, I mean, on my page na lang I go for the competitive stuff kasi masarap sa pakiramdam to win against your opponent, a human opponent. Pag-aaralan mo yung skills niya, how will you counter that skill? In the case of the Evo 37, alam lang nila, siguro yung mga iba nakikita nila paano yung Daigo Parry, how the Daigo Parry happened. Pero prior to the Daigo Parry, makikita mo na gulpi sarado rin si Daigo. But he had to study it real time para lang malaman niya na ito na yung, I think this is my moment, how will I parry this attack. So parang same thing sa in any game siguro, kasi play Clash Royale, tapos Street Fighter offline, I mean off stream rather, pero online. Nakikita mo yung para matalo mo yung isang kalaban na human din is a big thing for me. Kaya go back lang to answer the question. Yes, I would go pa rin for competitive wherein I can outsmart an opponent which is a human.
See Papri Raffy, he plays Mobile Legends, and I want to make that comparison. And I think it's something that it's the elephant in the room. The difference in esports is that now, in my opinion, the FGC's level of difficulty is probably one of the things that are putting off players, but makes their experience very, very positive also. Kasi you want to beat the guy, so that you want to be good because you want to beat the guy. That's the nature of the game. Right now in esports, let's not deny it, that there is such a controversy around the community surrounding these esports that puro pagalingan ang dating. And I guess this is why I love the FGC. Raffy, you play Mobile Legends, you play MOBAs in general on mobile. How do you see the FGC as being a part of the current Philippine esports scene right now? From an outsider looking in.
Ako siguro, thinking about how the esports community in the Philippines is actually parang hindi maganda ang tingin sa atin outside. So hopefully kung maganda naman ang ng esports ng FGC community sa atin. Kasi din nakikita ko sa mga streams si Almon and other fight FGC streamers natin. It's just that pag alam mo yun, pag nahaluan lang ng toxicity talaga, hindi talaga yun yung magiging masama sa FGC community. Pag But again, for now, maganda naman siya. It's just that sana lang talaga hindi siya matulad dun sa nangyayari ngayon recently sa mga MOBA communities natin dito sa
Naku po, FGC, kung toxic,
considering that the FGC, uso yung pop-off dyan eh.
My God.
Paghuhubad si Punko.
I had to highlight that part. Yung paghubad ng t-shirt na yun.
Right. That's his trademark. And that's a pop-off. I'm facing you right now. Sisigawan ni F-Champ this is my game. Di ba? Uso yung ganun eh. But we have to admit that the level of toxicity in the FGC is not newsworthy. Halos it's non-existent. Just to take home, Boss Calvin, Almon, since you guys are the prominent figures of FGC here in this group, how do you envision the FGC in its current state entering esports in its current state here in the Philippines? With all the Valorant, Mobile Legends, and the Call of Duty mobile things that are happening right now that's dominating the esports scene, paano natin ipapasok ang FGC? What is our strategy and how are we going to make it successful? Let's start with the player first, the guy on the ground who will do this. Almon, what would be the best way to do it?
Bago ko sabihin ko, shoutout sa'yo, paring Jet Mishima. Alam kong nanonood ka ngayon. Shoutout sa'yo, pare. The real champ! Yan ang champion. Sa akin, iba kasi, pag sinabi mo kasing FGC and esports, yung esports is more like yung talagang hindi ka lang titingnan sa skills eh. 'Di ba? Yung presentation mo din eh, kung professional kang tao. 'Di ba? FGC is more about like the skills itself. That's why dati, 'di ba, uso yung mga pop-off na talagang yung katabi mo lang yung katrash-tukan mo, 'di ba? Katabi mo lang yung katrash-tukan mo kasi pansinin mo, ever since naging esports ang FGC, lahat ng player bumait. Lahat ng player, yung mga heels natin sa FGC bumait. 'Di ba? Hindi na ako magbabanggit ng pangalan pero lahat sila bumait. Pero maganda tong ginagawa ng ng FGC ngayon, going to esports. Actually, it's a big deal na sa akin nung napunta yung Street Fighter 5 sa ESPN. Grabe yun, yung first event nila sa yung Evo sa ESPN nun. Pero yeah, we have to kailangan pa natin makita talaga there's a future in FGC sa esports. Nagsisimula pa lang tayo na medyo natigil lang ng pandemic pero papunta tayo doon.
Thank you. Boss Calvin, being one of the strategic movers, you're behind an organization, you are working behind the scenes, you're setting up the community, kumbaga institution na kayo eh. How would you like this to move into the general esports scene here in the Philippines? Adding to the fact that there's a very interesting comment here by Ronel Perez. Team games are preferred by new gens. Ako, I play Valo, CSGO, Dota. Siguro hirap lang talaga mag-start mag-isa ka. Given that flavor into account, it's very difficult, unlike before, that you start the game alone and get good on your own. Ngayon, co-op na eh. How do we do this for the FGC? This is close to our hearts because we all at some point, everyone here played fighting games. This is our generation. So how can you do this from where you are right now? How can we enter the mainstream scene?
I think this is what Capcom did with Street Fighter 5. No? I have friends na old school na matatawag na they're complaining na ang dali ng Street Fighter 5. And then meron naman akong mga new bloods na tinatawag na actually okay naman sa kanila. Ibig sabihin, it made them so parang dumali for them na mas maintindihan yung laro. No? I think for me, marami kasing hindi nagkagusto sa decision na yun. Pero for me, if we really want to make this big, no? Or yung esports talagang maging dumami yung audience, and we have to really reach everyone. No? Hindi tayo magkaroon ng gatekeeping na tinatawag na kami lang yung magagaling, kaming mga old schools at kayong mga bago, wala kayong alam gawin kundi pumindot lang at tamad kayong mag-aral. Mga ganun. There things like that happen no? May mga ganun na nag-gatekeep sa FGC. Kasi sabi ko nga, yun nga, if we really want to make it big, we have to really introduce it to everyone. Kaya nga gusto ko yung mga collaborations, may Fortnite, because we're reaching the new generation. Some of the new generation, they don't know Ryu and Chun-Li anymore, di ba? So, paano ba natin sila i-introduce that? And I think it's a challenge din sa Capcom. Like for Street Fighter 6, I think kasi SF5, after ng season na to, that would be it. They'll be developing na the new Street Fighter na. No? So, I'm looking forward how will they work on Street Fighter 6. Kasi I think they're thinking din to really reach the new generation. We really need the new generation. Sabi nga ni Momochi, no, I shared to you the article, no. Patanda na yung mga nagcha-champion o nakakabilang sa top players. Wala nang mga new guns. So I think there's a problem na kailangan may address doon in order for us to really So far okay pa naman ngayon kasi on tournaments we see naman new players, online we see the new players popping up here and there, pero yun nga, I think we really lahat tayo lahat ng mga tao sa FGC, kumbaga if you can reach one, di ba? Parang if you can bring one here, mas maganda yun para mas tulong-tulong tayo magpalaki talaga
Yes.
Kasi to be honest, maliit pa lang yung compared sa mga Mobile Legends, di ba? Maliit pa rin talaga yung ating community. But solid siya, pero hopefully mas dumami pa siya na mas ma-reach out tayo by not gatekeeping and teaching and guiding the new ones.
Yan. May sasabihin ako dyan sa sinabi ni Boss pero I just want to read some comments here which are very interesting. BJ Katokayo, pareho tayo pangalan. BJ Remigio said, mas mahirap manotice sa team games kaysa sa FGCs in my opinion. Kasi sa team games, you really have to stand out and be noticed. While the FGs or fighting games, you just have to join tournaments and place well. Okay? React to that later on. Fighting games, especially Street Fighter 5, sabi ni Julius Wizo, should include team battle mode para makukuha ng kiliti ng esports sponsors. Yun lang napansin ko dito sa Pilipinas. Very good. Sabi ni Lee, this is what we should have inclusivity. The mainstream just needs more icons for the FGC scene. I personally think like Almond and Boss Calvin. Yeah, actually, yun yung people you can relate to, and that's why Daigo is such a prominent character in the character na nga hindi na siya personality lang. Diba? He's now associated to Street Fighter. You say Daigo, Street Fighter, FGC yan.
Oh, siyang Michael Jordan namin.
Yan, diba? So ikaw where would you, diba? Saan ka?
Jimmy Santos.
Yung basketball player sa bully-bully. Pero Jessica also said there's no harm in trying to appeal to the teams minsan. They do nationwide scouting too. Yeah. So for example, Tekken is now the darling of the esports FGC. Now that's true, no? Tekken is such a prominent game in the Philippine FGC. A lot of people play Tekken. Pero just to say this, guys, Ito kasi yun eh. This is why Boss Calvin is Boss Calvin. Yan yun eh. Yung mga ganyang sagot, pare. That kind of strategy, that kind of, at least that kind of love for the community is what makes Boss Calvin the secret boss in the community. So dahil dyan, boss, he will not be a boss unless tribute is paid to the boss, just like in Yakuza, no?
Correct.
So in the vein of our another favorite pastime of ours, which is wrestling, if I may include a segment called Boss Calvin, I want to show you something. This is how we pray. This is your life. Sabi nga ni Mankind. Roll clip if you can, my lord.
Boss,
This is something that we prepared.
Pwedeng tingnan mo yung phone mo, tingnan mo yung stream natin. Tapos,
Go to your mobile. Go to your mobile now.
Yeah, may AVP.
Highlight natin
Oh,
si
that's
Boss ngayon.
nice. That's nice.
Boss, since this is your life, we've talked to some people na malapit sa inyo. So, oo.
Really?
Oh, eto sila ngayon. Okay.
Si Boss Calvin, napakabait na tao. Siya yung nagtiwala sa akin na naging part sa Secret Base way back 2019 ata yun. Kasi una kami nagkakilala 2018 sa Red Major ata yun. I think, Red Major. Tapos yun na, nilibre pa niya kami ng dinner. Kasama yung mga team SB, hindi pa ako SB that time. So, yun. Hanggang sa mga tournament sa Manila, covered lahat ni Boss Calvin. Kaya nagpapasalamat ako sa iyo, boss. Maraming salamat.
Meron pa tayong isa, boss. Meron pa tayo.
Hindi pa nagtatapos yan. It doesn't end there. Just like in the segment, there are other people too. Go ahead.
Ayan pa.
What's up, Calvin? Si Tony to, si aka Hi Tony, Secret Base, OG. Gusto ko lang sabihin na gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa nabuong team, especially sa iyo. At sana magtuloy-tuloy pa ang ating esports journey. Naalala ko dati, nasa kotse tayo. Pinag-uusapan pa lang natin yan eh. Nag-uumpisa kumbaga parang lahat vision pa lang eh, pero after a few years eto na tayo ngayon. Wala akong masabi eh, parang just be humble lagi. Alam ko marami ka nang narating sa buhay mo. Masaya ako nakilala kita being one of my bosses, at especially isa sa mga naging kumpare ko. Yun lang.
Hindi lang yan, boss. Meron pa. Madami to.
Boss Mike, maraming salamat sa pag-experience ng malulupit na bagay tungkol sa game. Siyempre, malaking tulong din ang naibigay ng Secret Base sa akin dahil na-experience ko mga competitive scenes sa Street Fighter 5 at sa pagbibigay mo sa akin ng fighting stick na hanggang ngayon gamit ko pa rin. So, yun. Congrats sa'yo and more power.
Syempre, boss, alam mo yun, alam natin na nasa Street Fighter tayo, di ba? So, nag-crossover ako ng onti sa Tekken. Punta ako sa teritoryo nila, may kinausap tayong champion doon. So, ito siya.
Si Boss Calvin, napaka-chill na person sa lahat ng mga situation, mga problema, naayos niya sa mga mabuting paraan. Very supportive sa lahat ng mga events. So, lagi siya. And syempre, hindi niya iiwan. Isa sa mga inspiration ko. Kaya, thank you, Boss Calvin. See you soon.
Boss, eto, hindi ako nag-crossover sa kung ano man dito. Wala akong...
Liwanag, hindi yan lumapit.
Hindi ako lumapit, pero meron kaming special na video para sa'yo.
Yun,
Ito siya.
Surprise! Thank you, Daddy. Please know how much I appreciate everything you do for me and for our children.
Roll
Thank you for the
BTR.
love, for respecting me, and for making me feel beautiful and loved every day. For a daddy that our children cannot ask for more. Thank you. You're such a cool, hands-on, very loving and caring. Our children are lucky to have you as their daddy. And at this time of pandemic, I want to thank you for tirelessly providing for this family. Thank you for lifting the spirits of the people around us, for motivating and inspiring many, for just being you, Daddy. Thank you. We may not be perfect individually, but together we make a perfect team. Secret base included. In everything, Daddy, thank you. I love you to bits.
Oh.
Wow, grabe naman yan.
That's,
Thank you so much, guys.
That's how we roll here eh.
Iba pala dito sa G, no?
Oo.
Talagang
Iba
parang
dito, boss.
my heart is full.
Ay nako, iba dito, boss.
Iba pala.
We will touch you emotionally and sometimes physically.
In more ways
and mentally, in more ways than you know.
Busog na ang utak mo, busog pa ang puso mo.
Tama, yun.
Kasi boss, this is your life. This is your life.
This is your life, boss. This is your life.
I like that. Thank you, guys. Salamat.
Pero mukhang tama yung may nag-comment dito. Tanong ni DJ, grabe naman sino ba yung naghiwa ng sibuyas?
Mga invisible ninjas cutting onions.
Panigay. Yeah, you would not, and at least, it's very the least we could do, because we would not be able to get these messages if you did not start this in the first place. So, these people are there for you as you have been for them. And, what else is going to be better than you hang out with G? Ganito kami dito sa G. Alam mo, wala akong mahahanap sa G sa iba pa. Maliban lang yung ablaze na table. Yun ang wala kaming mahanap.
Actually, yung gamit ko office table eh. Hindi siya bagay when I'm gaming. Kasi hindi siya gaming table. Parang maganda kung may ablaze na logo dito sa table.
No, I argue. Right? Ito, gusto ko ba 80, di ba?
Yeah. Pero, boss Calvin, we're all fans of what you're doing. And for me personally, who met you very recently, I would love to get into your restaurant.
Yes.
We would like to know where they are. Maybe we can visit someday. Where can we visit? And maybe we can take a look at the whole may showroom ba ang ablaze table? Handa mo yung van. Meron. Saan po ba yung mga locations? Tell us about.
Well, for now, the operating secret base is, of course, the main one, which is in Marikina. Yun yung, I think that's where I will invite you guys para
makarinig nyo,
makapag tayo bonding.
Guys, di kami invite kami.
May pamilya po ako dyan sa Marikina, mga pinsan ko, pwede makitulog doon.
Oo, kasi baka gabihin tayo.
Gagawa ako ng pamilya sa Marikina.
Naka-record yan ngayon.
Yeah, I would love to have you guys, kung nandito nga lang din si Almond din,
Okay lang, Boss Calvin, diyan na lang siya. Saya naman siya diyan.
Pero alam ko nagpa-plan siya na umuwi talaga before this pandemic. Pero
that was
hopefully soon, talagang Yeah, but I would love to have the G people, the G guys at the secret base para tayo makapag-bonding din and play board games, Avalon, ganyan. And
guys, narinig niyo yan hindi galing sa amin. Hindi namin invite ang sarili namin, in-invite kami ni Secret.
Yes. Gusto ko matry nyo dun yung pizza
Yun!
And yung freak shake.
Yung
Yan.
malaki shake yun yung gusto ko.
Oh my God, are we being offered food?
Oh my God! How did you know food is my love language?
Apart from that, parang pero I'm just curious, boss. No, we saw the commercials and we saw the ads for Secret Base. We saw it. It's wonderfully set up, as well as Ablaze, the gaming table. The first time we saw that was like, ay pucha, meron palang ganito. And now I realize it's being endorsed by some prominent content creators out there. Whose idea was this? I mean, Secret Base Restaurant and gaming lounge. Whose idea was as Ablaze? And then how is it doing now? I know I learned a very admirable fact about Secret Base that through the pandemic it went strong. It held on, right? Tell us about that, boss.
Yun nga, well, Secret Base, we started it ng wife ko na nakita nyo kanina, si Jessa. So it's our brainchild. So ako, ever since talaga, dream ko talaga na magkaroon ng gaming lounge. PS4, renting, ganyan. And my purpose is just to play kahit hindi kumita. Parang gano'n. Ano? The idea is just to have a shop na. And then, my wife talaga, ever since, parang she wanted to have a cafe. So, we merged the idea. And that time din kasi, kausuhan ng mga board games, nahilig din kami. So, why not? You go to our place, tas chill lang kayo, and then you get to play PlayStation, Xbox, yan. Wii U pa nun. Tapos, may board games, and then may food. No? Kasi, isa sa mga main business namin mag-asawa talaga is catering business. So, we're into the catering business. So, parang what we did noon is we just, parang yung aming parang hiniram muna namin yung ibang chef doon and cook na start-upan nyo to ng mga menu and all, so pizza, yan, doon namin yun and all. So, parang it was parang very easy for us to transition sa food business because yun nga yung main namin. So yun, pinaghalo-halo namin ideas and before, hindi talaga namin akalain na magiging ganito siya. Parang gano'n. It was never in our imagination it would be the Secret Base it is now. No? But we're happy na it was a great investment for us then. Pero that time kasi we didn't di namin iniisip yung money kung babalik pa. We just want it to be our parang place na we can go to and parang release stress, gano'n. And then, kung may pupunta, okay. Pero, yeah, it went well naman. So, it was a good decision. That's how it started.
What about the table?
Yeah, the table naman.
Ako, I'm feeling the vibranium and the Deadpool table.
Really?
Ramdam ko siya.
That's red, black, and all
yeah, the
black.
red, black, yeah.
The Blaze naman talagang it started kasi since nag-pandemic nga, and since catering nga yung aming main business. So nagbawal ng mass gatherings. And then what we did was kumbaga we had to adapt, while waiting for the restrictions to ease ng government. Yung mga tao namin na nasa warehouse namin, we created the Ablaze table. So yun yung naging a solution to our problem na wala kaming work for a certain period of time. Doon siya nabuo. And then it gave work to our people too. No, yun yung so yun, doon siya nabuo na tas that time din uso yung mga work from home. Up to now actually uso pa rin siya, no? So yun, so it was it parang created a job for our people and then it provided parang the needs specifically that moment. Na yun, they need a setup at home, no? So yun yung birth ng Ablaze gaming table. And syempre since gaming industry, dinikit na namin para mas madali ma-promote.
Boss,
it's also it's also very yung price nyo very
friendly.
very very competitive, very friendly.
Yes. That's right.
Boss, may tanong ako. Secret base sa esports. Paano to na, boss? Sino yung una nyong member sa kada game? Start off from Street Fighter, Tekken, and other games.
Yun nga, nung bago pa lang yung secret base sa Cainta branch, no? Kaya tinawag na secret base yan kasi yung una naming lugar, tago talaga eh. Talagang dadayuhin mo para pumunta doon. Kaya naging secret base siya. Pero nakakatawa kasi pinuntahan naman ng mga tao. At isa sa mga dumalo nga is ito sila Strider Ben. Kumbaga yan, isa sa mga OG ng fighting games yan eh. Tapos si Hi Tony. Yan yung kaninang nasa video din. So sila yung mga nag-introduce ng fighting games. Actually, sa akin din, I was just a casual gamer before. No? I know the games pero hindi competitively. Then they taught me everything about the FGC. Actually, sila din yung nagpakita ng video ni Daigo and all. So parang, ganyan pala existing. Kaya hindi sinasabi ko kanina, someone needs to introduce you talaga sa doon sa community para mahalin mo siya. And to me, it was Tony and Ben. No? Then after that, nagdayuhan na rin yung mga Tekken boys natin. Sila Don Argus, kung familiar kayo, nasa nationals na sila ngayon. Sila Machine Head. They're now under Smart. So yung growth din ng ibang players talaga ngayon, mga professional na, mga naglaro at nag-start ng Tekken scene namin doon sa East area. No? And then eventually, lumaki na siya ng lumaki into what it is now. Secret-based esports. And now we have Almonda as a player, di ba?
Mayabang to.
International na, no?
Mas Calvin, may isa lang akong request. Actually, request to ng isang kaibigan natin na si Lee Charles Delena. Kasi he has a podcast din na tungkol sa business naman. Baka naman pwede daw na masama ka rin niya. He's part of G as well. At nabasa ko yung comment niya. Shameless plug. Gayahin ko lang si Chino. Invite ko na po kayo sa isa pang podcast. Usapang business daw.
Pwede.
If you do him the honor to Lee tinulungan na tayo, Boss Calvin nag-yes siya. Naka-record to.
1,000 stars muna, Lee.
Hindi mo mababayaran yung ginawa mo sa Combatron figure. Tanda mo yan.
Tigilan mo na ako sa Combatron tayo na yun. I deserve that.
I can't get over it.
Actually, speaking of business, are you open for franchising? Jessica threw that question. Are you guys open to franchising?
Actually, that was our direction before the pandemic. Talagang to really create a franchise system for Secret Base. Although very challenging siya for us kasi in terms of design, in terms of food and all, we want it to be parang kung ano yung na-experience sa isang base is the same experience yung mapunta sa iba. So, parang we don't want to rush into it na parang basta lang meron. So, but yun yung plan namin. And then, gusto ko nga namin kung ano yung experience sa Marikina, yun din yung ma-experience sa Monumento and Nova, parang gano'n. So, yun yung ini-aim namin. And hopefully, after this pandemic, once okay na, we'll do that na, hopefully.
Boss Calvin, may hihirit ako dyan. Pero grabe, si Lichas Dalena, dahil pumayag po kayo, nag-send po ng 1,200 stars.
Wow, ang galing naman yan.
Allowance siya po yan galing sa asawa niya at ginastos niya sa atin. Ang galing.
Magaling.
Thank you sa pag-share.
Boss, pagkatapos mo mag-guest sa podcast ni Palito, mag-guest ka ulit para may 1,000 stars ulit.
May 1 to ulit.
Tama.
Ulit-ulit lang yan and that's how we do business. Tama, pagpasok po kanina, may stars kami ulit. So bukas, next Wednesday, balik ka ulit para may stars kami ulit. Ha, boss, no?
Yeah.
Para may panggastos kami sa secret base, Boss Calvin.
Hindi nyo kailangan gumastos sa secret base.
Again.
Okay.
Wala, guys, you heard it here.
On the house yun.
Grabe naman talaga.
Hindi, pero
napakasarap maging boss Calvin.
Hindi, since nabanggit ni boss yan, ito ang nagustuhan ko sa tropahan ng secret base. Kasi dati, I was a member of, the other organization. Pero naiinggit ako sa secret base talaga. Kasi yung samahan nila, I know na may casual sila nung gabing yun. Pero when I saw the after pics ng mga yung casuals nila, sama-sama silang kumakain sa isang lamesa, yung talagang pamilya. Alam mo yun? Hindi lang basta GG. Kain din tayo, alam mo yun?
Hindi lang community, no? It became a family, parang gano'n yun.
Oo, actually nandiyan sa mga slideshows natin. Oo, sa mga slideshows natin na nandun siya yung mga gimmick ng secret base, 'di ba? Andyan sila. Tapos, ito pa palang masasabi ko kay Boss Calvin. Napaka-humble ni Boss Calvin. Hindi ko nga kilala nun na siya ang head ng secret base. Diba? Nag-aya lang ako maglaro nun. Siya yung sumagot. Tapos, nung tinignan ko yung profile nyo, siya yung head ng secret base. Kasi ang kilala ko lang na secret base nun, si paring Ace talaga. Kasi siya yung isa sa top player ng Pilipinas diba? Tapos sabi ko sa sarili ko, ang bait naman nito ni Boss Calvin. Sana secret base na lang din ako. Alam mo yun. So, ayun.
So, dapat secret base ka. No? Sana secret base na lang din ako.
Law of attraction.
Sana secret base na lang din ako.
pero ako out of curiosity na lang to. Random question lang, Boss.
Alam ko susunod si Cap
Hindi, kasi people see Boss Calvin as the boss, no, for this fight, for the FGC community and all. I'm curious, what is your secret to this success?
Well, I think number one is we have people around us, no, talagang guiding us. We have Boss Richard of Playbook, one of our mentors din yan and a friend na talagang there to guide us. For me kasi, feeling ko hindi ko pa alam lahat sa esports or sa fighting games. And when I look at them, like yun nga si Boss Richard, parang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, that's the man I want to become. No? Parang gano'n. So, yung mga gano'n. And then, we have built friendship then over the years. So, parang yan, yung mga mentors natin really helps then to really be guided and founded. No? And then, the people, the support group, like sila Almond, mga foundation na yan ng SB promotion, yung ating team, So sila yung mga nagpo-promote, sila Tony. Without them, parang hindi rin tayo mag-a-advance further, faster. Parang gano'n. So I think the people around me is my secret, no? And I'm just a lucky person to be surrounded by them.
Oh.
And we are very lucky to be with you. Hindi surrounded by you, pero with you.
It's a privilege. It's
a privilege.
And buti nga sabi ni Almond kanina, sabi niya, hindi lang GG talagang pamilya. So, ang trato mo hindi lang membro, hindi lang kasapi, kundi ka kapamilya. So, bali, Tay, kailan ka mag-guest ulit sa amin?
Anak!
Nagugutom.
Hoy, wag ka nga ganyan. Wag mo alokohin si tatay ng ganyan. Nakakaya.
Anak ha, pakakainin ko kayo dito sa secret.
Nakakaya, niloloko mo na naman si tatay ha.
Saka,
But you know, oh yeah. Sige, Almond, you were gonna say something.
in speaking of success, you are surrounded by successful people too, like si paring Bruce ng Team Payaman and si Titus C, sikat na music video director. Can you tell us about like the success of your brothers na ano?
Yeah, siguro isa din sa mga namin is yun nga, I have these brothers na ayan, okay na. Yeah, I have my brothers na nakakatawa, naging successful din in their own field, yun, kwento ko na rin, kasi bilang panganay, isa din ako talaga sa nag sa kanila, nag-help sa kanila nung broken family kasi kami. So, nagdrama pa no? But, yeah, talagang dumating kami sa point na talagang tinaguyod namin yung isa't isa. No? I'm happy dun sa progress na like si Titus. And at the end of the day, nakakatawa din kasi itong mga brothers ko, sila din yung tumutulong sa akin. Like, yung mga kinabanggit ni BJ kanina na mga promotion ng Secret Base and ng Ablaze, no? Kumbaga, I don't need to hire pa someone to do it for me professionally. My brother does it professionally. No? So, kumbaga, that's an advantage already, no? At kumbaga, kung babayaran ko sa iba yon, mahal, no? Pero since brother ko, may bayad pa rin naman.
Pagmamahal na lang.
Pagmamahal at isang laro ng NBA 2K. Okay
yan.
Na. Mga ganun.
Okay yun, Tay. Gusto namin makita si Uncle.
Huwag ka mag-alala, Tay. Basta yung family natin, tight-knit yan. Close na close tayo.
Boss,
hold on.
Mabilis na.
Sige, go.
Teka lang, may mabilis lang. Boss, kwento ko lang sa inyo. Kasi si BJ, sabi, Mon, may half body pick ka ba o yung whole body pick ka ba? 'Di ba? Tinanong mo din ako noon. Sabi, Mon, meron ka bang matinong picture? Si Titus ba yung nagtanong noon? Boss, may matinong bang picture si Almon na pwede nating i-edit?
Ang sagot yan, wala.
Lagi kasi nakamaskara nun si Almond wala tayong makuhang
Or naka-makeup.
Kaya naghahanap kami ng picture para sa promotion sana.
Oo nga. Alam mo, Tay, pagalitan mo yan, sabihin mo kay Uncle.
Oo nga. Huwag mo lokohin si tatay ng ganyan. Shadow ka to.
Alam mo,
nagkaroon ako ng instant anak
Naalala ko nagulat Kasi nung una binabati nila si Boss Calvin, "Oy, Boss Calvin, ganyan." Yes, Boss Calvin, pagdating doon sa gitna, ngayon, Tay.
Sorry, Cap. Hello. Matagal na namin talaga tinatawag niya Tatay Calvin yan. Masyado ka. Huwag mo nga kaming yun.
Kaya masaya pa kami, tawag namin sa kanila, Papa.
Or minsan, pag feeling namin, social kami, Dad.
Hey, Dad, I want to play some video games, Dad. Come on. But I just wanna say that this has been a tremendous evening. Would you know it's already over 3 hours? I didn't feel it.
First time to.
First time that we've gone over 3 hours. Shout out to the people who have joined us ever since the beginning. Actually, si paring Ulysses ng Uli TV nagbigay ng 200 stars.
Better late than never.
Yan, shout out sa mga bumubuo ng Uli TV Prime na sila Lord DK, Aaron, TP, Borja, Bermudez, ang dami niyan. Almond, Peralta, Master Lichas, love you all.
Archie Manalo nandyan din yan.
Boss, kung gusto mong ng Eternals na MCU, Uli TV, bahala sa'yo, meron.
Iko-connect ka namin sa Uli TV, boss. Ay, sorry. Ay. Iko-connect ka namin. Mas mabilis pa sa satellite yan.
Yan ba ang source si Uli ba?
Yan yung source, Uli TV only.
So Dad, there's a source. Got that, Dad? So anyway,
may isa pa, may pahabol pa na stars eh. Hindi talaga nagpatalo.
Sino?
Mag-alala, Dad.
Si Yuli, sabi niya, wag ka mag-alala, Dad, may Quintana, nandito naman ako. Pambihira ka talaga.
Hindi pa rin halos. Alam mo yan, long hair mo, Kap, hindi maitatago yan ng long hair. Ikaw ang tatay.
Right.
But you know, like I said, you know, this has been a tremendous. This is what a huge month starter it is. Ganito kabigat sa G. Unang show ng buwan, Boss Calvin agad. Ganun ang baratan namin sa G, pare. Pero mga kaibigan, thank you very much. It's been our 3-hour show and we did not feel it one bit. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. Any last words from you guys? Just, you know, invite them to your stuff. Let's start off with Papi Raffy. Last words to our audience, guys.
Yes. Again, everyone, please do like, follow, and share our streams and our pages as well. Like yung page show, which is YRP Gaming PH. Also, our page, which is GPod PH or G Gamers Geeks and Good Times. So, again, guys, Boss Calvin, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Maraming salamat. And hopefully, hindi ito yung huli.
Thank you, Raffy.
Captain Mike, up to you, man.
So, thank you, everyone. No, this coming Sunday, it'll be the Cap's birthday bash. No, coming in at 3 p.m. for Call of Duty 5v5. Slots already full, so we'll just see you then. One thing I learned about this podcast is there's so many things to learn about the fighting game community, and I'm happy to say with Boss Calvin, Almond, and everyone else contributing to the growth of FGC in the Philippines, we are just starting.
Thank you, Captain. Noch, up to you, man.
All I really want to say is, guys, paki-suporta ng Secret Base Gaming Lounge. Puntahan niyo yung website nila and visit all their branches. Marikina, Novaliches, and Caloocan. Sobrang grabe yung business na to, and iba talaga magpatakbo si Boss Calvin. Kaya maraming salamat because you gave us the honor of having you here. Even invited us to Secret Base, and talagang pupuntahan ka namin. We will visit you, at kung umiinom ka po, sagot na namin ang alak niyo.
Yun, no?
Alam ko sasabihin niya, kung umiinom ka po, sagot ko na ang yelo.
Kung hindi man kayo umiinom, iinom na lang namin kayo.
G tayo dyan, G.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, son. Are you winning, son?
Gusto po, si Boss Calvin ng G. Almond, you are probably the guy for FGC. So give us your last words before we take Boss Calvin away from you. Before we end the show. Last thoughts, man.
FGC, papunta na tayo doon. Pasensya lang, paring Jet, I just wanna give a message to you. Alam ko nanonood ka. Yung time mo, darating din yan, pare. Para sa amin, ikaw talaga ang tunay na champion, paring Jet. Walang iba. Kita naman namin lahat yun eh. Kita namin lahat yun. Pero yun, Boss Calvin, thank you sa pagtanggap sa amin sa Secret Base. Sa amin nila Tony, si Ben, si Ace, si Bidot, tapos ako,
si Chino, diba? Si BJ, si Raffy, si Mike.
Yung mga membro ng Secret Base. Right, Dad?
Yes, son.
Right, Dad? Ang angas pa na pagkadad eh.
That's right, man.
Thank you sa pag-produce, boss, ng mga greatest talent sa FGC at sa contribution mo rin sa Pinoy FGC. At ayun, dalaw kayo sa Secret Base, pupunta ang G doon. Punta kayo, magkita-kita
review
doon. Oo.
Mag-review tayo doon.
Oo, tapos kung streamer kayo or work from home, Blaze Table, sila bahala sa inyo, search nyo sa Facebook, Blaze, lalabas na kagad na yun. So, ayun lang. Thank you.
Thank you, Alman.
Boss Calvin, please take us home. Your last thoughts for the evening. What message do you have for the fans and the family supporting Secret Base and Ablaze?
First of all, thank you, G, for having me. Sobrang na-enjoy ko yung ating ano lang talaga ako, lurker lang ako ng page nyo eh, di ba? Lagi lang ako nanonood.
Oo nga, Boss Calvin, thank you doon. Thank you.
Piniplay ko lang siya while I'm doing something. Tas I'm just listening to the news na binibigay nyo. Lagi akong na-entertain siya. Ang dami ko natututunan. And iba pala yung experience pag ikaw na mismo yung nandito. Bukod sa marami kang matututunan. Yun, masabi ko nga, I gained new friends tonight. Thank you guys. BJ, Chino, Mike, Raffy, and of course si Almon. Salamat. And then sila Cheska, sila Lee. Salamat sa lahat. It's great to be part of this. Then may This Is Your Life pa, talaga namang iba. Iba talaga sa G.
Iba talaga sa G. Yun dapat yung tagline natin, no? Iba sa G.
Iba sa G. Pwedeng hashtag. So thank you guys for having me. And syempre, I would like to greet na rin yung ating Secret Base friends. Yan. So hindi ko na isa-isa pero yung mga players natin and then the staff as well. So yan, salamat sa support nyo sa akin. Salamat. Salamat sa lahat. Especially sa mga nag-tune in ngayong gabi na to. Thank you everyone.
Siyempre, yun na ibibigay namin sa'yo. Papayag ba kami na ganun-ganun lang yun pa? Papa? Nakahain na ba, Papa? Nasaan si Mama? Senyorito? But anyway, thank you very much. If you guys like, that's right. Boss Calvin is the head of Secret Base. Head on over to facebook.com/Secret Base Cafe. Check them out. Check their menu. They are located on, if you don't mind, I'm going to say they're located in Lilac Street, corner Panorama, along General San Diego Street, Concepcion, Marikina City. You can check them out there. And of course, Ablaze is facebook.com/Ablaze Gaming Table. Check them out. Quality grade gaming tables for your work from home and esports and streaming and overall gaming needs. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. You have just watched episode 19. Si Papa talaga na
si Papa. Iniisi mo na naman si Papa.
Preparation ako. This is episode 19 of Gamers, Geeks, and Good Times, where you will get more of games, geeks, good times for all the nerds out there. Just like us, have a great evening. This is BJG, your host, joined by Raffy,
some
Captain
nerdy nostalgia,
Mike, Noch,
gaming
Almond,
geekery,
and,
or pop culture points and
Captain,
previews?
the secret boss himself. Catch you guys later. Papa, we'll have that time. Who's your daddy? Boss Calvin is my daddy.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Sharing news, views, thoughts, or just